This is Jordan Grace, and you're listening to the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
BWB, this is One Nation Radio. You better get it right. Rich Latta, James Boyd came to give them life. The Blackest Wrestling Podcast has come to kick all ass and drop it 6 feet if they kicking trash. Word, let me welcome y'all to something different. And if you dig it, man, you should let some friends listen. We be getting it in, this on the regular, dude. Ravish and flow, but this shit rude. See, James don't rap, so I had to break it down. The whole network, man, we coming for the crown. Raps in the columns, I keep them both covered. Making the beats too, so the listeners can bump it. Hit us with the rating, yeah, I'm saying it's a 5. Before you hit it, talk, bob your head side to side. It's One Nation Radio, and this is the beginning. It's Rich, and I'm here with James. It's time to listen to One Nation.
You got to unleash the power of the pyramid.
This is Mike Sempervive from WrestlingObserver.com. Check me out on Wrestling Observer Live every day. And also check out your boys, Rich and James, on One Nation Radio.
This is Kenny Omega. We're listening to One Nation Radio. Check it out, guys. These guys know what's up. Big Kenny Omega fans, that's all that counts to me. Goodbye and good night. Bang.
Hey, folks, welcome to this midweek edition, special Stardom 5-Star Grand Prix 2022 preview edition of One Nation Radio. After my third intro doing this, I finally got it right. Was that my third time or my fourth time? I can't even tell now at this point. Anyway,
three.
Think it's 3? Okay, anyway, we have Rich with us. What's going on, Rich?
Not much, man. Just was at the dentist earlier today, and no, not Britt Baker, but of course I had to make Britt Baker the first person mentioned on Stardom podcast, but just for funsies. But I'm chilling, man. Very excited to talk to our guests today.
Yes, long time coming. I was just saying this a minute ago, like one of the invisible hands of One Nation Radio. We have with us, Jay, also known on Twitter as the JML. What's going on, man?
Oh man, thank you guys for having me. You guys are one of my favorite shows in the podcast space, so I'm happy to be here.
We appreciate it, man.
Appreciate it. Yeah, man. I don't even remember how we came across each other. I just know that like over the years, people like you, people like JD from Red Leaf Retrocast, people like Sierra Reed, like, y'all have helped us out tremendously in, I guess you say, our Joshi journey and our Puro journey and going through some of this stuff. And like, we would not be now covering, I think this is our 4th Grand Prix. Let's see, 19, 20, 21, 20. Our 4th Stardom 5-Star Grand Prix, if not for your contributions to the show in chats or on Twitter or even in your old Discord that you had. So definitely, like, while we have you, I want to give shout outs to let listeners know like how instrumental he has been to helping us out over the years. So definitely glad to have you over the first time. Hopefully it's not the last time, but glad we can finally do it. And
speaking of Sierra, she's the reason why I discovered y'all's show.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look at that.
It was a couple of years ago, and I think she was on another show on the Social Suplex Network. It wasn't even on your guys' show. It was on another show. I forgot the show, and I'm sorry I'm blanking on it. Mm-hmm. But I listened to that show. I thought it was cool because Sierra's my people. So you listen to her, and then you guys were the next up, and I was like, "Yo, what is this?" Because you guys guys fit my sensibilities. I know you guys love Maya Jones and other radio radio/podcasts, and that just fit my ear, and I was just at home. I was just listening to y'all on and off, but like the last couple of years, it's been must listen to y'all, especially when y'all went to I forgot the website, but y'all doing the Raw recaps.
Oh,
and that was
Lords of Pain.
Lords of Pain.
Stuff.
Now WrestlingHeadlines.com. Yeah.
Yep. The LeBron James bum of the week. Like, that was some of the most hilarious stuff I've heard in wrestling podcast/radio. Y'all were doing a fantastic job. I know WWE is it's whatever, but y'all made it palatable for me. So.
Oh man, that was painful, man.
Yeah.
I'm glad y'all got some enjoyment out of it because man, I was beat down by the very end. I didn't realize I was beat down.
I did
from all that shit.
I knew you were, Rich, because like, at that point in time, like you. You kept having to do the Raw when Raw was like doing, you know, the awful Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins angle, and I luckily had like, you know, Becky Lynch and AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan, you know, saving this shit. But I remember like every week we'd be like, "Yo, what is going on?" Like, and you know, it's one thing when you just like kind of like watch it with a critical eye, but not like keeping notes. But like, when you keep the notes... We were
writing, like, physical notes every week.
That's insane.
When you keep the notes... Yeah. When you keep the notes of, like, what was going on at that time, you're just like, yo, this is, like, there's no way around this. This is, like, this is nonsense. It's gibberish. It's 5 hours of gibberish. And we will come on... you know, basically like after the Tuesday SmackDown, so that's like 10:30 will start, and you know, like Richard had a whole like 24 hours to stew on with nonsense he had to write down the notes for Raw, and you know, just because SmackDown was good at that time, pretty much because we had, you know, some hot storylines, doesn't mean like there wasn't some nonsense on there. So like, we would just be, you know, like, what is going on depending on the week. Like, if we got a bad SmackDown, we were just going to bury the whole entire E. Just period. But yeah, like, that, it was funny because, like, that was at a point where, like, it felt like that was a time where a lot of people that we were talking to at the time were just done with WWE. And at that point, they were just listening to people review that they trusted, and like a lot of people came around and followed us based off of that. Like Sam talks about that, Imp talks about that. Yeah,
Bruce. Shout out to Bruce. I think Frankie. A lot of people like heard of us through that, you know, site, and then, you know, just kind of followed us back to Social Suplex here.
I'm just glad that at the end, our last show, we were able to go out and give a one last final, like for the whole entire period, the final LeBron, Ramon James, you bum of the, you know, of the era, and you know, Baron Corbin.
Yes, earn that. You know,
look, it'd be, you know,
how they had Steph Curry unanimous MVP. Yeah, that would be him right there. Yeah. Phenomenal work by
like
Corbin.
The thing that's funny to me is like, it's been years. He's had plenty of opportunity and time and effort put into him to change this. Nothing has changed. He's still a bum.
Not one thing.
All right, so enough reminiscing about it.
Like we like to say, always ahead.
Yeah. We saw that one. But enough of the reminiscing about the bad days, the bad old days. And about like the connection and how we met each other. But what's upon us now is what Rich called out last year, seemingly the best tournament in professional wrestling annually at this point, the Stardom 5-Star Grand Prix. It's amazing. I never would have thought it came to this, but it's came to this. Like, Stardom has reached up to that level, and New Japan Pro Wrestling has dropped down below that level. It's interesting to hear people talk that follow both, and they talk about which are they more interested to see, which are they more interested in who's going to win, and what it can mean for the future and everything. And like, with that roster being the roster at this point, with some of the stuff some of the people they decided to put in the 4 blocks, with the decision to go with 4 blocks so people can't get multiple matches that are their best workers. Stardom's ahead of it. Like,
it's like there's no way around it. And this started happening a couple years ago once they started, you know, making the G1 mean less, like when they have the G1 winner lose the briefcase, and then when they do the convoluted setups for the double domes, like that kind of took something off the G1. And now I think that we're about 7 nights through this thing. This isn't the G1 that we're clamoring for, I would say. The 4 block format doesn't seem to be something that is really like providing a good narrative to it. So it's like, you know, before it's just A block, B block, you're back and forth. And then it's like, man, somebody's wrestling. They're not wrestling for 11 days and shit. Like, it's just not like hitting like that. And then you look at, you know, Stardom in that case, they still have the value of the 2 blocks. They still have the value of, yo, this person, when they win it, it may really mean something and lead to a big match. There's not a convoluted nature coming out of it. So they've got, and then, you know, then we get to the impressive roster that they've put together on, you know, both blocks. Yeah.
JML, what are your thoughts on where we are now between the 2 tournaments and how we kind of got here?
I think with the G1, for me personally, started getting steel a couple of years ago, and I started when they had the Access deal. I started cherry picking the matches whenever they would make to Access, and wait a couple of months, and almost right before the pandemic when they had their deal, they were basically like 1 week off. So I would just wait until they would air like the prime G1 matches, and sometimes I remember. One of the shows, it might have been 2018, 2019. It was like a Corrigan. They aired the same day. It was just later in the day. So I just waited. I didn't even watch on New Japan World. I just waited until they turned it around on Access.
Was it the Moxley Ishii match?
It might have been.
Okay.
Oh, I do remember it was, I think it was Ospreay Okada.
Okay.
So 2019 probably.
Yeah. It was Ospreay Okada in Corrigan. I know Hangman was still, because AEW is 2020, right?
19.
Launch 2019.
No, 19.
Oh, Hangman was in 2018.
Okay, so it was Hangman was in the other. So Hangman was in the year before, but they were pretty close. There was like a 2-week gap with the Access shows.
Okay.
Yeah, so that I would just wait until they would broadcast those and just cherry pick matches. I think the last one I really was fully invested in, watched every single show, was probably Kenny and Naito, Sumo Hall. That was probably the one out. And then after that, I was just like, it's. I don't want to say that it went down, but I was just like, I'm not fully invested watching every single match from every single show. I was just totally burned out after that.
Yeah. So, because if I remember correctly, that was 2017, right?
Yeah.
The final 2017. Because that was because they had didn't they have back to no? I'm wrong on that. But yeah, they had
they wrestled each other 3 years in a row.
Yeah.
No, but the final that Kenny won was 2016. That was against Goto, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was Goto.
Yeah. And the 17 was the Naito one. The Naito Goto, like, that's my favorite Naito match, and like, I think that's one of the best matches I've ever seen. Like, that's my favorite non-Omega Kenny match. I'm not on Okada Kenny match. So, like, it's still like, even up to 2019 was just fantastic. Even 2020 like had certain shows where it's like, this is every bit on par, even without the crowd. Cause like, there was a show where like they had like 4-star matches. There was, that ended with like, Okada and, Shingo, and it was off the charts. But since then, it just hasn't been able to match it. And like, I think, seeing how this goes, I get the idea, like you mentioned, like the idea of going into it, of freshening up, or keeping the recovery for the wrestlers, doing it that way. But like, narratively, like, it's harder to follow when it's like you're asking somebody, like, instead of they go out there and they wrestle basically 2 times a week, now it's like they wrestle once every other week, and now you have to remember where they are in the standings, and then like you have to try to remember and try to think about like momentum, and like it's kind of hard to do that when it's like, it used to be Kenny Omega goes out there on some run, or Naito, or more specifically, Naito used to go out here on these runs in the back half. So some of these try to make a scramble to try to make it to the final, and he used to be interested in that kind of way. And in the way he would wrestle, got a tournament where he would be like, he wrestling sorry, he may as well have a t-shirt on, and then all of a sudden the last 6 matches is boom, 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 and you're like, oh, okay, Naito decided that he's up against it, and now like it's really hard. It feels harder to judge. And like, I see some of these ratings from Jeremy, and Jeremy I think is most, you know, the most fair graded that I follow. This is the base, and like I'm looking at these things, I'm like, oh man, I feel bad for Keepin It Strong Style. I feel bad for Super J Cast. I feel bad for these folks. So, but
yeah, man, it's a whole lot of not, you know, anything above 4 1/4. 4 1/4 is awesome, you know, it's cool, but this is the grade 1 climax. Where the fuck are my, like, you know, 4.75? Where's my match of the year candidates? And it's just not there. Like,
I feel like there's been one so
I'm not
far,
saying
through
that
7 days.
Like, and I'm not saying that, you know, the Grand Prix is just going to be chalk loaded of these things, right? But like, you look at the matches on paper, it's like, well, I think they have a lot more opportunities to do it.
And also, like, this is, now that it's back to the 15-minute format that it originally was before the last 2 years. It's this situation where, like, maybe there probably will not be anything that breaks over, that gets into the 4 3/4 star range, right? However, there are going to be some matches that are going to be challenging for 4.5 stars, and they're going to be like 12 or 13-minute matches, and they're going to be barn burners. And like, when we first started watching Stardom, like the idea that like you're having people just get straight to the essence, if you will, like. It, like, don't get me wrong, like the fact that the fact that a lot of the wrestlers have gotten better and shown to be able to go 25 minutes, someone like a Saya Kamatani this year, awesome. That's awesome. However, when I first tuned in to Stardom, I was watching Kagetsu and Jungle Kiona go out here for like 13 minutes and tear the house down, or watching like Momo like knock Mayu out up from getting into the final in 2019 with a barn burner that went like 13 minutes. Like, or watching like Julia and Tam go nuts on like the second to last day of the tournament, like in like 13 minutes. Like, that sprint type of thing is like is what, in my opinion, made Stardom so interesting to me, is like they can compact all of this epicness or just bomb throwing into such a short amount of time. And like, you're just great. You can't wait for the next one. And like, I feel like with this roster, and then like with them going back to 15 minutes, and the idea that like they can't all be fucking draws. Like, we're going to have like kind of like that again. And like, I'm in a weird way, as far as the overall star rating peaking or whatever else, maybe not so, but I feel like the floor is raised now. Or let me say the floor, but like the median match is going to be a little bit more interesting, because like there's no all killer, no filler, if you will. So happy for that.
Totally agree. Like, I kind of liked last year when they made it 20 minutes, because you know, everybody was making long matches in Japan. It was kind of just a trend. But with this, like, I kind of saw the precedent with the Cinderella tournament earlier this year, and that was 15 minutes, and I kind of was like, these matches are kind of quick, you know, and they were good, but I kind of wish it was like 20, because back when I started following Stardom regularly in 2015, and that's when the 5-star Grand Prix was 15 minutes, and that was with a lot of foreigners coming in who had no business in Stardom, you know, wrestling those matches. You know, one comes to my mind, the Mandy Leon going over Yoshirai one year. So you have that, but whereas 15 minutes, it allowed like some of those foreigners who didn't have a lot of experience, you know, coming in from wherever, to get the amount of time to work in those type of matches. Whereas now, it's the roster is composed of basically them. I mean, there are a lot of these women are young, but they have much more experience than the average women's wrestler. So for them, they can work 20 if they wanted to. But 15's a little bit more challenging, but it's going to, like James said, it's going to be all killer, no filler. They're going to get straight to the point. And, you know, to me, there's a lot of matches going through this tournament that I'm like, all right, I'm circling, I'm going to watch this, I'm going to watch that. Like, I'm not going to watch everything. Like, it's probably going to short circuit my brain, but like everything, a lot of matches in this tournament is going to be really, really good. The most, like the ceilings, like 3.5 stars and above to me. That's for the average match.
Mm-hmm. And I sometimes I forget, like, you are far stingier with the stars than I am. Far stingier. Yeah. So, like, when you talk about your 3.5 stars is like my 4 or some shit like that, or maybe even 4.25. So yeah. Like, I'm
But to me, 3.5, that's a good match. Like,
yeah,
that's good. That's good. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. So,
all right, before we get it going, we gotta do it. James, hit the music.
So, where do y'all want to start? Which block do y'all want to start at? Or do y'all want to go to more of a global thing and talk about winners and work backwards? Or do you want to look at certain matches or certain wrestlers?
I think we should just start, like, red block, go through each person, pretty much synopsis of, like, what we expect out of them, how they've been doing for the year, and, kind of juxtapose them, like, because the way I have it listed is like I'm looking at the Wikipedia, and they have it's pretty close, right? On the looking at, hey, here's slot 1 on the red, here's slot 2 on the they've got Shuri across from Mayu, Tam across from Julia, Utami across from Saya Kamatani, Azumi across from Starlight Kid. So it's all, like, listed, like, top to bottom in each order. So I think it's like we can go back and forth, like, red, and then however you want to do it.
Unofficially, like, they start with red on all their stuff, so let's start with the red block. Real quick, Rich, because we've done this last few years of, like, the traditional peak New Japan Pro Wrestling G1 blocks of one's an A block, one's a B block. Looking through the blue block and the red block this year. Or red stars and blue stars this year, which block is which relative to New Japan G1?
This is very tough. They lost Tekla and got sub Momokogo. Momokogo has actually impressed me a lot. And I'm looking kind of towards the bottom of these brackets, right? Mm-hmm. So I see, and it might be them that kind of swing my decision. I'm seeing Mai Sakurai and Saki Kashima. Nothing wrong with those young ladies, right? But I look at the people that's across from them. I see Hannon and Mirai. Okay. Right? And that blue, the more you look at it, and I don't know if I felt like this a couple weeks ago, but that blue block is very
deep, very
good. And you start going from Mayu to Julia to Saya Kamatani, Starlight Kid, Momo. She's always solid. Hazuki, this is her first 5-star back, because I don't believe she was in the tournament last year.
She's her first one back since 19.
Saya Ida, Natsupoi, the Mina. Then Hannon is gonna actually get to kind of do her thing. Mirai, who I love, I know a lot of people have mixed feelings about Mirai, but Ami, haven't really seen too much of her. And then Suzuki, like the X Factor, in this thing. So I'm leaning towards blue is the A block here.
Yeah. That's kind of where I was at first. And then I remember you said before the Tekla, replacement with Kogo. And I was like, I think this is very, very even blocks. But now that we've dropped, or I won't say drop, because I think Mai is going to do, or not Mai, but Kogo's going to do well, even though she's going to eat a lot of pins. I'm with it. I think the A block is the blue block, or the blue block is the A block this year. But in typical, B block fashion, like, you still got, Shuri and Utami and Tam and someone like Arisa Sarah, and like they're going to go out there and they're going to have their matches to try to hold up their end of it. But yeah, I just think the depth goes to A block to Blue Stars this year. JML, where do you want to start? Do you want to start with the blue block, or do you want to start with the red block?
Let's start with the blue block. Let's start with the A side, basically.
Okay. So let me click over. All right. So we start this, I'm assuming, with most people's favorites in this tournament going in, Julia. I'm looking at her path, and she has, well, one, she has the storyline elements at play. She has the presentation at play that she's always had since day one walking to the company. And she also has like the very interesting final night match with Suzu. So like she has almost all the elements in play to make a deep run. And she has that storyline of, can she kind of get herself out of, as she called, the clouds, this dark cloud that's over her right now. So, where do y'all see, Jim, I'm gonna start with you. What do you see for Julia in this tournament?
I can easily see her winning it, but I don't think she will win it because of the Suzu Suzuki factor. I think that match, because that match is the final night, I think because of how important that is, it will carry on to the rest of the year in the feud continuing, because that final night is going to be October. Like, that's the thing. It's going to be like the first two nights are starting this weekend, in the end of July, but it's going to extend all the way to October. So I think this feud has to continue. I think Julia, they could easily make her the winner, because last year I know Dave Meltzer said that she was pegged to win it. We talked about this before. I don't think she was going to win it. I think Suri was the rightful winner from a booking standpoint. Yeah. But easily you could put her to win the whole thing. But I think her and Suzu is a money match, because that final night, I know they're not going to put 10,000 people in that arena, but it could be configured in a 10,000 seat arena. But that match is supposed to draw, and I think they're gonna have that match to draw again later down the road. So, to me, I think she's gonna be in contention towards the final night. It's whether she spoiled it to Suzu or Suzu spoiled to her, because Suzu's also the Regina the Wave champion, so you have to protect her there. So, with Julia, I think she'll be in contention for sure that final night. I just don't know if they pull the trigger and give her the win that night, or she'll be upset by Suzu.
Rich?
Julia has been through a lot, I'm sure. She got turned on last week. She had a red belt challenge earlier this year. And she has, shown a propensity in these multi-person matches to lose. We've seen her unit collapse around her. So this is the Julia, rebuild story. So I'm looking at it and I'm like, well, she's set up to have a lot of good matches, right? Yeah. I'm looking at the blocks, like, her and Mayu. We remember that match. I believe that was earlier this year. If I'm not mistaken.
That was the anniversary show,
that was
January.
Excellent.
That would end up being like makeshift, because it was supposed to originally be a triple threat with Tam, but Tam got pulled 11th hour for to be put in COVID jail.
I'm just like she brings, like, the ruffian nature to this block. Like, there's a lot of, and so does Suzuki. And then, Momo's in there as well. But I think Julia's, she's got the whole, the storyline deal working for her. And I'm looking at, like, who, could be in the finals. And, Julia's as good a chance as anybody. I don't really think they're going to push Mayu to that extent. Saya has a belt on her, so I don't think that's going to be the way they go. And then when you look at everyone that's left, like, unless you're pulling the trigger on like Hazuki or Starlight Kid or something, like, which I don't think they are, everything screams Julia for me on this.
Yeah. And I'm with y'all on that. Like, everything screams Julia except for, like, and like we all agree she's definitely going to be up in one of those situations where it's like in contention, and where the chips fall on last night, whether or not she makes it or not. But I'm just looking at this whole prominence thing and how they've been around, coming in and out for shows all year, and it's like that's my only hang up is can Suzu play spoiler to continue their story, because Like I'm looking at this stuff and the way it's been is happened, and like they really in like Suzu and Julia both won a singles match, and here's their single match right here, and it's like, all right, so like
I could easily see that being almost feels too.
That could be it. Like it could be Julia has to win a match. She has to win the match to get in, and it goes to a draw, and then it's like, all right, well, in 2 months, y'all had a match at whatever big venue they do for their year-end show, and then like whoever wins goes to the title, and then like Julia is supposed to, after she beats wins the rematch against Suzu, eventually in months later gets her opportunity to get the red belt. Then months down the line, like and I also talked about my fantasy booking scenario, and like that's kind of what my fantasy booking scenario kind of is, as far as what's going to happen with the red belt over the next year or so. So, but whatever. Like, I think that like if I was going to bet money on the tournament, I would put Julia as a favorite. If I was going to handicap the race, I would put her as a favorite. I just feel that Suzu thing is just a dead. If they had put anybody else there, put anybody else from this block in there in the last match, I would be like, okay, she's definitely going through. I just feel like there has to be a storyline and reason that plays for why they put her there, besides just to, roll over and die for Julia without her ever getting anything in the situation out of it. Like, as far as narratively, it's like any kind of revenge or whatever else, after the way they came into the company. So, it makes me hesitant, but yeah, I think as far as a gambling man, I will go with Julia. So where else do you guys want to go? Any highlight matches in particular besides the Suzu match that y'all have on this list looking through the block?
Natsupoi, bring your ass here. It is time to pay the piper. And the piper's name is Julia. You know what's funny about that, Rich? You know what else is on that same show? In the other block, Tam versus Mai. They both finna beat the perpetrator's ass on the same show. I get told this company doesn't tell stories. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's gonna be fun. The one that I'm looking for the most, just for me personally, is like looking at 9/23 in Momo and Julia, because that was supposed to be like Julia's last match in the Grand Prix last year before she went down to neck injury. So like I've been waiting on this match for about a year. So I can't wait to see that. But yeah, like I mean, there's just tons of people. Like I think the person when we go through this stuff, all the people like first time matchup and stuff is probably gonna be Susan for me, because she's gonna have a shit ton of matches that are like I look at it on paper and I'm like that's great. But yeah, those are the ones that come out to me. Is there any other match in particular from Julia's schedule that you're looking forward to, JML?
I know Rich mentioned her versus Mayu, the rematch, and it's going to be like the basically to me the rubber match, because they had a match last year on the second night of the 5-Star Grand Prix, which I thought was excellent. And if that was in WWE, AEW, PB Raven, that was one of the best women's matches of all time. But yeah, it's in Stardom, so it's just a great match. So that match in Yokohama Budokan, but also I'm interested in the Hazuki match, because the way that was her first singles match in the company, Julia's first singles match, and people wonder if like Hazuki sandbagged her or anything like that. It looked real awkward, that match.
I love that match. I got that match 4 stars. I love that match. Like,
so they sandbagging over here too.
Yeah, like Hazuki, like in the pre-match promo was like, "Y'all want me to lose? Fine, I'll lose." And they went out there and they brawled their asses off, and then like Julia won.
Yeah.
And that was on her way out. That was on the retirement tour for Hazuki in 2019. So like I wasn't too far into the talk back then of what was going on amongst like the Western fans thinking of like of that kind of stuff. But I remember watching that match being like, it was great. And I remember hearing afterwards people were like, they didn't like it. I was like, huh? Okay. But yeah, like, and also, Julia and Hazuki have kind of, they've kind of hyped up this match, like in their tag match they had, where it was Julia with Mai, defending or trying to challenge, or challenging, FWC. So like they've been, when they were brawling also outside the ring as a finish was being decided in the ring between Kaguma and Mai. So like, yeah, they've set this up for a few weeks or maybe in a month at this point. So yeah, that's another good one. So I guess going from there, I guess where do y'all want to go? Do y'all want to go with Mayu now?
Yeah.
Okay. It's weird because like I look at the end of this and I see like what we talked about with Julia and like I see Mayu and I'm like, she can make a final. I don't think she can win. So and that's weird. And so I look at her last match and I see her with Starlight Kid, and that's another one of the big matches they're gonna use to sell for the final night. And like, you know, last year, Mayu was eliminated via cheating from Starlight Kid while she was dead. Starlight Kid had a chance to get in. Mayu closed the door on her. She couldn't make it to the final. Obviously, something has come to play with that, with their ongoing story since she left or since she was lost to Oedo Tai. So I'm looking around and like I see this card and I see some of the first time matchups and I see some of the old rivalries. I think Mayu and Julia are 1-1-2 against each other. Momo and Mayu is always one of the best matches of the year whenever they have a real singles match. In Stardom, Natsupoi, they can always have a great match. Kamitani, I don't remember ever seeing a Kamitani and Mayu match since Kamitani like wasn't a young girl. Hazuki Mayu is always great. Like, so I think that like this is kind of like the part where like of the year when like, oh, it's tournament time. Let me remind you that like even though I'm like almost like the mascot of the company, like I can still come out here and drop 45 whenever I want to. So, but as far as winning, I will put her in like the fringe contender section. I don't know about y'all, but how do y'all feel about that?
I think with Mayu, the promo after the Sumo Hall show against Shuri raised the eyebrow to me, saying that she was going to be world champion, the red belt champion by the end of the year. To me, she's going to be in contention. I still don't pick her as the winning the 5-star Grand Prix. Cause thinking about it, no one has won the 5-star Grand Prix twice.
Right.
So I don't think that Rossi's going to do it this year, with Mayu, but you never know. But, that just sticks in the back of my head with me. If they ever want to do that with her, if they wanted to make her have the chase of her going for the red belt one more time, because she's closing in on 30. I don't know if she is 30 or not, but there's been rumors a couple of years ago about her retiring. So but I don't think she'll retire anytime soon. But if they wanted to go that route, it's always in the back of my head. Maybe it's nothing, because she won the SWA title and said that the Stardom English account put out that tweet saying the forbidden door is open and nothing happened. So so it could be that, but I think she'll be in contention towards the final night with the Starlight Kid match in play. But I think Starlight Kid wins that match and gets revenge on her.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Mayu's at a point where she is someone that has the long history in the company. She's someone that when they bring back, your Kairis or Nanai or anything like that, put Mayu with her, because like Mayu's like not necessarily driving the narrative of Stardom right now, right? And I think Mayu is someone that your person that's going to drop in. Oh, I've heard of Mayu Watani before, but Mayu's going to be the person that gets everyone, like she's the hook essentially. Like, so like you're going to see all these people wrestle Mayu Watani, and those people that you see wrestle her, those are going to be the people like you remember how we used to look at Piper on Orange is the New Black. It's like she's the person that's in front, but
she's almost like the Trojan horse.
Kind of like right. And I think that's what Mayu is like at this point. And I totally agree with JML. I feel like, her and Starlight Kid is a big match on, the last night. Like I can never like get out of thinking, about Starlight Kid turning. That would be a huge like win for Starlight Kid. Yeah. I don't know if they'll give it to her, but I'm looking at it. it seems like, like I couldn't book a better final night opponent for Mayu aside from maybe Tam, but she's in a different block. I'm definitely very excited to see her and Saya Kamatani. That screams RLPW. So let's get it popping. Go out there and score 40. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm with you in like. In my opinion, they should like put Starlight Kid and Mayu in the same block until either one, Starlight Kid beats her on the way to winning this tournament, whatever year that is, when she eventually does, or B, until like Starlight Kid beats her in a special singles match on a big show pay-per-view or in a white belt or red belt situation. Like, it has to be the thing where like she puts her over. You get in that kind of way, right? Like the Omega Okada, the Naito Okada, like you finally beat this person you've been chasing for, or model yourself after or whatever else and chased after for years. So like, yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you on that one. And yeah, like the Kamatani match. It's so. I'll get to it. We'll get to it when we get to her point. But like, there's so many matches I want to see from this one particular person. Because like, but yeah, I guess we go with the white belt champion, Saya Kamatani. She's no worse than number 2 for Best Women's Wrestler 2022 so far. And what we've seen from white belt champions in the last 3 years, the previous 3 tournaments is where they eat L so they can get their wins back and set up title matches. So I think at this point, because she's beaten a number of people, and like I think this is the part where like you start getting, the doubt, or the part where you can just knock her out of the tournament. She keeps her out of contention or whatever else, but she either wins big or she goes on a hot streak towards the end or whatever else. But she ends up somewhere like just out of contention, but leads with like all these interesting storylines to keep her afloat until the end of the year or whenever she eventually loses the belt. But I'm excited to see what she does with the 15-minute format, because like she kind of has to. I think she's one of the people that has kind of figured out how to be better at like 20-minute matches than 15. So to kind of see her try to put that back to, distill that in the 15-minute format. Like, I'm interested to see how that goes. But like, yeah, like I can't wait to see her versus anybody on this thing. Like, maybe outside of maybe like Ami, but like I know what her and Suzu gonna do. I know what her and Mariah have already done. Her and Hannon will be fun for what it is. Like, her and Mina will be good. Natsupoi, we already seen that. Ida, the Battle of the Sides is gonna be fun. She's gonna have a fun tournament. Like, I don't know as far as what she plays as far as a key narrative struck piece outside of building title defenses, but I think she's gonna have a great tournament.
I would say watch out for that Ami match. I think her and Ami, like, I'm a little bit high on Ami. I think she's gonna be she's gonna have a big run in this tournament, and I think watch out for that match. Saya could just beat her and put her away, but I think there could be a thing where Ami, she could have wins over. Well, I'll say it later, but she could have a win over Saya and
have a giant run.
Have a giant run, and then have a because Saya, the more she's defending, the more more opponents she's not gonna have left. So I think Ami is with Ami in that mini 5-star Grand Prix to get into the tournament, they really protected her, and she ran through the whole block. So I think that wasn't by accident. It was kind of like the Shingo Super Juniors run, or that's the Super Juniors run. So for her, I mean, she's still young, so she'll get some losses during this block. But I think it would be a good time for her to, probably make Ami in her match and set up a white belt match down the road. But I agree with you, James. Like, there is a plethora of matches where she could have really, really good matches.
Yeah.
So for the longest time, Saya Kamatani was looking up at the top 6 and trying to get to everyone's level. Well, my, how the tables have turned. So there are definitely going to be some people looking up, trying to get to her level. Like, I feel like Momo sees Saya Kamatani as like her last ticket to, like, you know, we pronounced Momo essentially finished a couple weeks ago on the show.
As far as the red belt contender, yeah.
But the white belt, like, especially the way Saya Kamatani's talking, like, she wants to break the defense record and all that stuff. Like, circle that match, Momo and Saya. There's going to be some extra intensity, I would gather, in that match to lay something down for down the road. I am a giant Saya, no pun intended, Saya, or giant Saya's the other one. This is tall Saya, but I'm a very tall fan of Saya Kamatani's, and she's just so interesting, like, juxtaposed against almost anyone. Like, you know, how's she gonna deal with the roughhousing of Suzuki, and then, you know, Momo's gonna want to kick her, and then Julia's gonna want to brawl with her, and Mayu's gonna want to wrestle her, and then, like, you know, everyone else is kind of like, all right, like, let's see what you've learned, like, you know, in all these, you know, these defenses, and certifying you at this level, like, you know, are you the person that can lead, like, you know, someone else, and, you know, as less experienced. We've got we've got tall Saya versus giant Saya at some point in this, and we know, like, they came up together, and I may be mistaken, but I don't remember these two having a match at, you know, this later point, and, you know, there's some history there, so keep that in mind.
Yeah definitely. Like, there's JML Kamatani. Have we already thrown you for Kamatani, or no? I don't remember.
Yeah, we did.
Okay. Yeah, so with Ida, with Ida, like, I mean, they haven't had a match since they both have got out of young girlhood, if you will. But, like, yeah, I mean, 2020 it was those two and Micah that were fighting all over the future belt after Utami vacated it. So like, they have good matches. They're both way better than they were even then, and they were still having, you know, all three of them were having good matches with each other for that, basically holding up that division by themselves. So yeah, like, seeing them eventually, I have to pull up the date for that, but, like, I can't wait to see that, because it's like, this is a part of, like, watching the thing for so long, is, like, seeing, like, where these people are at that point and where their growth. Kamatani ends up with Ida on the 4th. So yeah, like, I can't, you know, that's a ways away, but, like, that's about the halfway point. But, like, I can't wait to see that. Like, her, and then, like, as you mentioned, like, now that she's on top, and she's kicked people off the mountain that were trying to, you know, kick people off her cape, right? And it's like, all right, let's see how these people rebound. Like, let's see, like, Natsupoi, let's see Starlight Kid, let's see Mirai. So, like, those are interesting to see, like, if these people can, you know, get themselves a rematch by beating her. So yeah, like, I think she'll have a great tournament. But, you know, champions got to eat some falls.
Have we gotten a date on the Kairi match? Like, the Kairi
singles match?
Singles match, yeah.
They've been teasing. I don't think there's actually, like, a date in place, though. It'll probably won't be in place until after this weekend. Okay. Yeah. Because the opening night, they're going to have Nanai and Kairi versus Saya and Lady C. So. Yeah, I wouldn't call that a versus. I would call that a beating, but... I saw that they're selling, like, the Nana Kairi, like, towels. So it's like the towel enriched on the towel is the motorcycle. They gotta come down with the motorcycle. They must come down and enter with the motorcycle. They can't just walk down the ramp. Ain't no way.
Keep on rolling. Yes. Just keep on rolling.
Yeah. So next, Starlight Kid. I think that she, from a storyline, presentation, match quality standpoint, or big match standpoint, like, she has to be at worst top 5 in the company so far this year. At worst, I'm probably shortchanging her. She might legitimately have a shot at this. Like, came into the year with the high speed belt. won the tag belts. Now the trios champions. Had an all-time
de facto unit leader.
Yeah. Had a all-time high-speed match this year that made waves and got international eyes on it. Had, a recent defense that, like, I thought she was a real threat, and, like, the way that they followed her around and, bawling her eyes out, it makes you think that, like, this is coming to her next. I have no notes. Like, I absolutely hated the heel turn, at the time. And, like, I just thought that, like, this young lady was a license to print money, and they turned her heel, and she's still a license to print money. It don't matter. She's that damn good. So, like, I don't even, I think that as a dark horse, if I had to make a dark horse pick, it would be to do it right now. Put, like, me and Rich, we both were like, that's our pick for Cinderella. And then it passed on her. What if the idea was like, nah, we're not going to put a Cinderella. She's going to win the fucking Grand Prix at 20 years old. Or 21, whatever. She's about to be 21. Like, I think that she has a legitimate puncher's chance to get into a final here. So, I look at some of the matches that she has, like the first night, it's, she has Suzu, I think. And then the second night, she ends up with Kamatani. Like, I think she's going to have an incredible first weekend.
Yeah, I agree with you. And when I was going through the not G1, gosh, 5-star Grand Prix, when I was going through the 5-star Grand Prix just to see just points and what was assigned, I just did it. First time I did it blindly, and then I made some adjustments. And I looked at it, and the top winner, the top point getters, I had Julia, just me thinking, all right, who's going to be protected? Who's going to, because, when you mentioned the Starlight Kid Saya match, like last year and years before, they like to, whenever there was a challenger early in the year, they like to get their win back. Like last year with Micah and Utami.
Right.
Micah beat Utami last year to close out the show. I think that's going to happen with Starlight Kid, with Saya. And then just going through each of the nights, it was a lot of times I was thinking, Starlight Kid might win this. And then I had her tied with Julia and another person that we'll mention later, with 16 points. And the way it adds up, she beats both of them. So she would have the tiebreaker and coming out of the block. So I have her coming out of the block, but it won't be easy. She'll need a lot of help, and that's where, and we'll talk about it later with the other person. And I think probably if you listen closely early in the show, you probably know who it is. But I think she, like you said, it's going to be the dark horse. I think she's going to come out of the blue block and be in the finals. I don't know if she's going to win, but I think she's going to come out and represent the blue block in the finals because Rossi likes to get fresh matchups, and Starlight Kid with a lot of people on the red block will be a totally fresh matchup.
Yeah. And I mean, also, if you look through some of the main events of or the final match for some of these Grand Prix, he also goes in there protecting his future money match down the line. Like he hasn't necessarily gone out there and put Naito in a block against Okada and say go at it and win. He's never quite done the a Naito Omega Grand Prix final. He's never quite done that. It's a lot of Kairi versus Haley Hatred. It's Hana Kimura's mom Kyoko versus versus Izuki Akawa. It's Nanai versus Jazzy Gabbard. Is a lot of that. It's Konami, or sorry, it's Hana Kimura versus Konami. It's a lot of that. So
last year with Siri and Momo, that was the third match that was the third match they had that year. So
yeah.
And the year before with Utami and Himeka, came out of nowhere.
Right.
So I think with Starlight Kid, a lot of people are talking about, well, if Julia wins, do they do Julia versus Utami? That is a super money match that I wouldn't blow. Even if this is a 10,000 seat arena, it's not going to fill it up.
Yeah.
You don't blow that match here. You do it down the road. And I think with Starlight Kid, it's someone that you put in that main event in terms of the finals, and you're not losing much, and also with her, being in the main event, that Corrigan 60th anniversary show, her main event against Natsupoi, getting the cover, like multiple covers of Shoe Pro, like the momentum's there, and I thought she would win in Cinderella. They gave it to Mariah, but to me, I think if they go with her, I wouldn't be mad at it. At least put her in the finals. That would be really good for a good year for her in 2022.
Yeah.
I think Starlight Kid at
No, go ahead.
My fault.
Go ahead, Rich.
I was gonna say she's house money right now. So like, if she makes the finals, it's like, damn, maybe she's ahead of schedule. And if she doesn't, it's almost like, well, next year for sure. Like, you'd be like, maybe we're a year early, like on it. I think if I was a betting man, and I'm not, and if you were handicapping this thing, it's like, yo, just lay 100 on Starlight Kid and see what happens, and you can feel good about it either way, because it's like, oh, okay, it's 100. That's the cost it takes to get in the game, or you fucking win. Like, and I think she's capable of it. I just can't get looking past Julia this year, especially with the reporting last year, the way everything's kind of broken down, and the unit around her. I think Julia has a stronger story, but yeah, she's right there. It's going to be one of those two.
So now I feel like at this point we're getting kind of out of the legitimate contenders and now moving into the more like they're going to be interesting as hell. And I know people are going to
Momo Watanabe come to the stage.
Look, man, I love Momo, and like I can't wait for her match with Julia, as I mentioned. I can't wait for her match with Mayu, because I mean, quite frankly, since we started watching Stardom, I think that like they may have the best 3 series of matches outside of like Utami and Shuri. Like they just always, anytime they get in the ring together, it's a classic. So but I think that like
I'm just kidding, Momo.
But I think at this point, like, what's interesting for her is like, like her year-long, program that she's kind of had, like with her tag partners and in singles with Hazuki all throughout the year. So like it kind of kicked off when she left Hazuki in the Stardom history match at Sumo Hall back in December, left her out there to die to get murdered by Takumi and Mayu, and like it then continued into the tag stuff. Where they took the tag belts, and then they had the singles match the next day, and then FWC win and the tag belts back. So like this whole thing, like it hasn't been at the top of the card, but as far as a program and a feud or whatever else, I think it's probably one of my favorite mid card feuds of the year so far. And considering like I really wanted to see Utami and Momo, and it didn't really happen in the way that I wanted to. Like this was a very more than good consolidation prize, because like I always thought that like these two were meant to be career rivals. So and it's weird because like Hazuki was a heel when she first came, when I first started watching, and Momo was the babyface, and now like look at it, like you saw that video that Tennessee Sooner made, like the transformation, and you mentioned like this award winning, like this woman went from being like like a warrior to like this deviant almost. So like yeah, like I
just downtrodden, falling on her luck, like just grizzled, like looks like she smokes. She looks like she listens to a lot of Nirvana. Like she's going through it. Like
yeah. So like the matches, like she's gonna have killer matches with Mayu, with Julia. Like I hope they don't do no goofy Bullet Club type bullshit with Starlight Kid and they actually just wrestle. But like that, if so, that'd be great. Her and Kamatani.
Watanabe could fit in the flock.
I was gonna try to think of a Raven joke. I really was. Like her and Natsupoi was good as hell from last year too. Her beating the shit out of Mina is gonna be interesting. Her beating the shit out of Hannah is gonna be interesting. Like her, her like kicking the shit out of Mariah and Mariah selling it, working from underneath is gonna be interesting. Like yeah, her and Suzu is like in 2019, you could have told me there was a bigger match in Joshi, according to hardcore Western Joshi fans. So, like, you got it. So, like, I think she's going to have a great tournament. Like, I remember 2020's tournament she had, I was disappointed given how highly I thought of her. But last year, I thought she made up for that. And, like, she's back here and she has opponents to go nuts again. And, like, I think that she's probably going to lose like 4 or 5 times, but I think that she's also is going to, they always keep her in the, like, where she won't be eliminated until well, actually, I take that back because her last match is, in this tournament is against, Hazuki. So, like, she'll probably be in play until the last day too. She'll just get eliminated, based on how the math shakes out. But yeah, like, they're going to keep her strong. She's going to have great matches. And, like, it is what it is with Momo. Like, we know. We just know. That's the resigned fate. It's a bummer, but she's going to kill it in this tournament.
Yeah, I think Momo's going to... I looked through when I was talking about going through my pick'em, I got her at slotted at 14 points. So she's going to be in play for the final night. I just think that you said Hazuki's the final match, so I think she's going to play a little bit of spoiler for her, but I do agree. I'm super interested how the match with her and Suzu Suzuki is going to be. That's going to be in Edion Arena. So I'm interested to see because they're doing a double shot on the 18th and the 17th, I want to say.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see how that match goes because I could see that going to a draw. So
no, I'm laughing because, like, you said the 18th, 19th, like, and I was about to say, yeah, and then the 19th is in Nagoya. Like, I've studied over this. Like, I know the next date because I know how these clusters are. Like, I was talking to JD for Red Leaf about this as far as, like, the upload dates, the schedule or whatever else. I was saying to him, like, look, man, they're not in Tokyo for them 3 days in a row. Like, they're going to be in Osaka, then Nagoya, and then the next show is Korakuen Hall on a Friday on the 23rd. I was like, I bet they had that show before they get all them fucking matches up. I bet. The next days later, like, watch that happen. Like, we'll come back to this and check on that. Like, will Sonny have all the shit up in time? But yeah, like, back to what you were saying about Momo.
No, I was tailing off, but
okay.
Yeah, I think she's gonna have a good showing. I think, like I said, I think she's gonna have 14 points. 12 points in that range, sort of getting protected, but at the same time, she's not going to win it. I think if she still was in Queen's Quest, she would have a better shot of winning the whole thing, just as a redemption arc from last year, but not this year. No, especially not after losing to Shuri in the red belt match. So,
Rich.
Yeah, I want to see Momo and Hazuki. I also want to see Momo and Saya Kamatani. Like, those are like the ones I got circled. Her and Ida might be kind of interesting as well. She's set up to be your classic. Like, this is going to be like an Ishii style run for her. Like, she's got plenty to offer. Like, her opponents work wise. I'm looking at her schedule. She doesn't have a 6 show in a row thing. She's getting a lot of rest comparatively, it looks like, to a lot of her opponents. I'm just like looking at her schedule. It could be tough for her towards the end. She's stacked up with Julia, Mayu, Hazuki at the end. So she's going to jump out to a big, like, lead. She might jump out in, like, 6-1 or something at some point and then collapse down the stretch, because that is the life of Momo Watanabe. Collapse.
Oh, this man.
Oh
man. I wonder if people listen to our show that are like, huge Momo fans, like, these motherfuckers every single. It's like, I like Momo too. I just not.
It's like, bro, we like her too. It's like, we about to keep it a buck.
Right.
We gotta keep it a buck.
Hey, you're talking to a Jungle Kiona fan. Like, I've suffered enough disappointment in my life. And I like Hiroki Goto. Now what? Yeah.
Jay.
Yeah.
Oh,
real.
man.
When over the years when you listen to our show, right? I love Jungle too, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I'm honest.
Yes.
Okay,
yes,
thank you. I hope people know that I'm fair. I'm not just out here picking on people or whatever. Because, like, they get real sensitive about their favorites not whatever else, and like that even bleeds over to other promotions that I keep hearing about of late. Is oh my god, that my favorite shit got to stop. Like, do you like wrestling or do you just like the people you like?
Banned from losing matches.
Yeah, man, wild shit, bro, wild shit. So I guess so we talked about
they called for Chris Jericho to retire. What the fuck?
All right, so I guess since we talked about Momo, I guess we basically talk about like the opposite of that, Hazuki. Hazuki has been kept strong throughout the year. Her and Kaguma both together, tag team champions. Hasn't had a title shot for the red or white belt this year. Bound to definitely a threat to get one of those 40 years out. Just rock solid. So glad that she's back and got herself, away from the bodega, as Rich likes to call it. Stop working the convenience store and get back to, what you're meant to be doing. And she's in a much better and happier place, it seems like, now than she was before she left. I feel like she's almost underrated. But because of her skill level is off the charts, and like her matches do everything they're supposed to do, and she's almost automatic. But I think that she kind of is more content with her lot in life in the hierarchy of Stardom, and she's okay with cashing them big stars checks. So I think that very similar scoring to Momo, on the outside end, she might be alive until last night, but I don't think she could get in. If somebody else from the Red Block is going to win, I wouldn't mind her being the person that gets in to, have the great match and lose sort of thing, similar to fashion to Momo or Konami a few years ago. But, outside of that, I think that, I think she's going to have a rock solid tournament, and I can't wait to see her versus Momo rip it up at the end. And someone like her, Natsupoi, I think that could be great. I don't know where y'all want to go take it on Hazuki.
With Hazuki, I think she is the definition of 50-50 in this block. I think she's gonna be up 6 and down 6. I think she's gonna be solid. I think she'll win 12 points. But the matches that I'm looking forward to, you said the Natsupoi match, but also the Corrigan match against Mayu, I think she goes over. I think that's because with the Corrigans, they're going to surprise some people. Mm-hmm. And I think she's going to be sort of I don't want to say the Saki Kashima person in this block, but she's gonna roll a couple of people up with that Mayu Star Cradle and get the win.
That's definitely happening.
Like you said before, she's been rock solid. FWC has been a great tag team, but for her, I think this cements her. And that match with Momo at Sumo Hall, that was a great match, 4-star match. I think she's going to have a bunch of those during this tournament. But the one I'm really looking forward to is her and Mayu, just to see what they do in Corrigan, and also Natsupoi. It's just a harken to the throwback of the Stardom I like. Some people say that they've sort of retrofitted the Bushi Road style into it, but to me she's been great. So it's great in her comeback, and but to me she's 50-50 so far in this tournament.
The real Stardom.
The real star, yeah.
Like the big houses, the bigger houses, the more acclaim for matches. Nah, that's not good enough. That's not good enough. When people say that stuff, I'm like, do y'all hear yourselves? But Rich, go ahead.
I definitely am looking forward to the Mayu match for Hazuki. Just looking at the narrative, her joining Stars, because I knew Hazuki as an evil, per se, and once her, I didn't really know how to take the soft Hazuki, the minus Hazuki's rules Hazuki. I didn't know how to really deal with you gonna go with Mayu Iwatani and do things the right way? Nah. I think we get an appearance of the old Hazuki in this match, and this thing is I know, like, you know, I'm with you, but like, nah, we gonna thump, and I'm gonna show you, like, I'm not your soldier, essentially. Aside from that, I can see her beating Kamatani and getting a title match. Aside from that, she's just going to be someone that, you know, that when we talk about the strength of this tournament, it's because Hazuki's in a spot like the middle of the block, like kind of slotted wise, right? But she's as talented. She can be way up there. And, you know, when you start looking like, oh, yeah, there's the first match, the second match, and then like the third from the top match, and it's like Hazuki's in that shit. Like, oh, this shit is, you know, it's on. So, like, she's going to play that role.
Yeah. And the only thing that disappointed me was her match with Koguma at the Cinderella finals, or the semifinals, and just the way that match was. But hopefully, she's away from that so she could go through this block. And I'm interested to see with her. And I wish Momo Kogo, even though she's in the other block, I wish she was in this block just to see, you know, teacher versus student. But we'll probably see that down the road, maybe next year.
Yeah. It's funny because like when they said they're going to just put the 3 slots in, like I knew they were going to put Ami in. I just knew they were going to put Ami in, but I was thinking like, and I knew they were going to put Ida in, and Ida deserved to be in based off skill of what was left, right, for people to get in. But like I was like, if I had my way with it, I would have put Kogo, Ida, and C all in. And like I knew they were going to put. But the 3 people they put in are the people I thought they were going to put in. But I was like, you know what? Like next year, hopefully, you know, with the progress, whatever else, expand the field or less, you know, outsiders like Kogo will get in, and she made it, so I'm happy for her. But yeah, next year, like, can't wait to see Hazuki whoop Kogo ass. But but yeah, so we are here. It is giant time. Saya Ida. She is. I'm interested to see what she looks like by herself and what she can come up with as far as these hyper brawls and these fun matches at the undercard of these cards. And like, she is going to. I don't know what her ceiling will be. Would her ceiling be 8 wins? I don't know. But I think that like she is going to have even from 2020 when she was in as a last minute replacement, like she's just going to come in and she's going to have really good matches and lose, and like you're going to enjoy the time the have her 5, 6, 7 minutes you have with her in the ring. So like I'm happy that she's back. She's even improved since she tore ACL, and like to have somebody like of that quality like at the bottom of your tournament is like. This is a loaded promotion. It just is. Yeah,
with her, she's a personal favorite of mine. However, I don't think she's gonna get a lot of wins in this tournament. Maybe 1 or 2 on the safe side. But yeah, like it's interesting because I thought before her messed up her knee, I thought she was gonna get a real expanded role in Stardom. However, the knee injury really set her back, and she's taken a lot of pins, and I'm surprised by that. But in terms of just work, she's going to be great throughout this tournament. I mean, she like starting off. It's her and Ami Saray, and the match with her and Ami in Corrigan maybe a month or 2 ago. I really loved that match.
Yeah, that match was really good.
And you know, just throughout the block, it's just we just hope for really good matches. It's gonna be a rough one if you're a giant Saya fan, Odo, because going through my pick, I have her 3 points.
Yeah, it's rough. Like I'd have to run the numbers to my head, but like I'm just looking at the block, and it's like I feel like there's one in a possible, right? Like I'm like there's one in a possible. So yeah, 3 sounds about right. Like it's one of those situations where I was looking at Azumi last year in the blue block, and I'm like, you finna be like top 3 in like match rating an average match rating, but you're gonna be fighting and struggling to get like a certain number of wins, and that's kind of the case for her. But like, you know, such a life of a great power wrestler. Nothing comes easy. You got to get it all off the muscle.
And even with her and Hanan, they have a match the night before the finals, so that might be the match that determine who gets like a actual pin during the 5-star.
Yeah, for me, looking at Saya Ida's block, this is about one match, and it's the last one that's booked. Saya Ida versus Mirai.
Yep.
James Boyd Pro Wrestling. You know, these two women gonna bump chests, run into each other, and fire up, and that's gonna be like, you're gonna be losing a lot, right? And you're probably not going to get a chance to really, like, you know, see what Saya Ida's made of, you know, a lot in this, because there's going to be 5-minute matches, 7-minute matches on, you know, the opening match of the show, second match on the card. But on 10-1, oh yeah, we getting the full experience.
Yep. And she might, I think she gets her win back from the Sumo Hall show when she faced Riot. So
I want her to get that win, and I want her to get her win against Ami back too. That's why I said she might be like. We'll see how this goes, but like, that's what I want. Like, but yeah, it's gonna be fun to see her. But she's gonna lose. Like, but that's fine though. It's okay. It's okay for some people to take the Yoshihashi route. I'm gonna get my ass whooped, but you gonna feel me. And that's what it's gonna be with Ida. So here we go. Natsupoi is going to have a fantastic run in this tournament. She has all these opponents that she's already had kick-ass matches with. She has all these opponents that she has storylines with, from the dynamic of her filling the number 2 slot of Cosmic Angels, and Mina being basically like Tam in 2019, and like and Tam being like Mayu 2019, and just that dynamic of like, you know, of the jealousy. You have Julie at play after she threw Julie in the mud, and then you have like the rivalry, like Starlight Kid, the feud with Kamatani over the white belt. And then you see like some of these matchups that just look like they're just like perfect on paper matchups, like her and Hazuki and her and Suzu, and even, you know, the match between her and Mirai from the semifinals of the Cinderella this year is like, this is like almost outside of adding Tam to this list, like this is like a list of all her best opponents in the entire promotion put together. So like, she's gonna kill it. And if they want to throw a little dash intrigue in or whatever else, they could put her on some type of win streak. I think she's going to be on the outside, as far as I think she'll be eliminated before the final night. But like, when you get to that final night and it's going to be her and Mina, it also happened last year in the final night last year. Like, I think that she's going to have a great tournament. Like, I just keep looking at this blue block and like, so many people are going to have great tournaments. It's interesting. Jim, what do you think about Natsupoi's run?
Yeah, when I was talking to you earlier in the week when I was trying to fill this, fill the, you know, fantasy book, the 5-star Grand Prix, and I looked up and I was like, yo, I have Natsupoi winning 10 matches.
Out of 12?
Like, no, no, this ain't gonna be. But you know, I looked it over and I have her winning at least 7. Like, I think her going to Cosmic Angels is great for her. It's an elevation. I think she's gonna, like you said, is gonna do well. But in terms of getting into the final night, she'll be in play. I have her in the 15-16 range in terms of point totals. And there's gonna be a lot of good matches going around with Natsupoi, like you said, and I'm just you know, I don't know if they'll go that, you know, they'll go the crazy part and just give her a monster push throughout this block. I don't think that's going to happen, but like, It's a lot in terms of looking through this push and be like, yeah, she could win this. She could beat Julia. She could beat Saya to get her win back. She could beat Starlight Kid. There's a whole bunch of people she could beat booking wise to run through this block. I don't think she's going to win the block, but she's going to be definitely going to be in play. She's one of the top 5 people, I would say, going into the final night.
All right, so Rich, now let's explain. Now I want to hear what you have to say now that you have turned your back on Natsupoi, because Natsupoi turned her back on you. So where do we go with this one?
So Natsupoi, I'm looking at it in this block, and man, I feel like Natsupoi is gonna be running for her life. You got Julia just waiting to put the paws on her. You got her, being out of her league with Mayu Iwatani there. You've got, as you mentioned, like the cross interesting matchups, the stylistic challenges, and those are her nights off. But then, the rest of Donald Del Mondo is like, kind of waiting in the wings. Excuse me. Those two are not in Donald Del Mondo anymore, but the old Donald Del Mondo, when she was there, Mariah's there. And Ami, I imagine Suzu Suzuki doesn't take too kind to. I mean, she did something to Julia, but I imagine that Suzu Suzuki wants to be the person to inflict pain on Julia, and she may be offended that somebody else tried to do that. So,
I got one for you. I don't know, man. Suzu Suzuki cut some promo talking about if there's anything I hate, it's backstabbers, and you you backstab Julia. You know the same way Julia backstabbed me. I'm gonna bust your head. I'm with, you know what? I'm with Rich with his nonsense. Yes, keep going.
I'm seeing Natsupoi, and then Tam's in the other block. She ain't there to help. She ain't there to assist, and she's gonna be running up that hill, as I've been saying lately. So,
all right, what's gonna happen when Mina gets hold over?
Natsupoi.
What's gonna happen when Mina gets hold of her?
Oh my god! So Mina's gonna let her know, like, hey, in Cosmic Angels, there's a certain standard here, and you, what's up? Where's the look? Like she's gonna bully her psychologically on that. So that's gonna be tough, and that's our last match of the tournament. She's you cool with Tam, you ain't really cool with all us. We got to jump you in still. So I'm getting those vibes.
I don't think there's ever been anybody in Stardom that know that Rich has ever turned on in such a way that that's a play shit. This is great. Oh man. So all right, let's go to Mina. This is a big opportunity for Mina. This is a chance for Mina to get herself a white belt shot. This is a chance for her to tell or get her story across with Natsupoi. There's a chance for her to showcase her toughness and how she's improved since she first came to Stardom. I remember last year's Grand Prix, I kept enjoying her matches when they're in the undercard. And I remember particularly the match she had with Mayu. Mayu beat the dog shit out of her. And she just took it, and I was like, to me, she picked up her G card that day, because I can have it on my phone the way she beat the hell out of Mayu beat the hell out of her. It was just all types of just buzzsaw kicks and super kicks to the face. It was just nasty, and I was like, this ain't no soft, TJPW wrestler. This is a person that is really that wants to do real pro wrestling, real ass wrestling, in the words of Jeremy Donovan or John Jurish. So I was like, I really like her. I know where she's going to be on the card. I know where she's going to be as far as the standings of this card, whatever else. She's going to pick up some wins or whatever else, but she's not going to really be in play. It's more about the story part and her putting on good matches for other people to shine that are going to be at the top of this thing going to the final night. But I think she's just going to have solid matches.
Yeah, I agree. With Mina, she's probably the most improved, one of the most improved wrestlers in all of wrestling, I think. With her, her little, I started to notice it last year. Her little, I don't know if she's watching AJ Styles tapes or whatnot, but she's starting to do the little running elbow and all this other stuff. So, but with her, I think she's gonna have a good showing. I think she'll get 4 points, maybe 6, but. Yeah, I mean, she's a merch seller.
Oh yeah,
yeah. With that, remember that headband at the cage show match? The cage match that sold out like instantly, and for her, she's just one of the merch sellers. I think down the road, is going to get to a point with her that she's going to improve so much that probably Rossi's going to have to look at her, and because she's moved so much merch, and say, hey, maybe we have to push her like he tried to push Unagi last year. So I think with Mina, all you want is a good showing, like you said, and I'm interested to see how she does down the road. Maybe next year she might take that leap, maybe in the Cinderella tournament or in the 5-Star Grand Prix next year, not this year.
Yeah, somebody is gonna be eating these falls. Somebody got to be a lost post somewhere, and it's looking like Mina in this block. I'm looking forward to her being in there with a woman literally half her age and Hannon, and seeing the bullying that is going to be attempt to go on in this match.
I was not expecting that one. Bullying a woman that's half her age.
So that's going to be what I'm looking forward to for Mina.
Holy shit. All right, so all right, now I guess we'll start with Mina. I'm sorry, not Mina, but we'll go to Hannon. I think that Hannon has had a very, very, very successful run with the Future of Stardom title. Like she's taken on all challengers. She's given some people their best matches of the career up to this point in their young careers. I don't know how the hell you squeak out a 3.5 star match out of Waka Tsukiyama, but she managed to do it in the opener. She is that solid of a technical wrestler and a foundational basic wrestler, and 17 years old. I'm just really interested to see where she ends up when she gets out of the the JK fighter stuff, that evolution. Cause it's not going to be like Starlight Kid or like Azumi, but I think she in the future is going to be great. But I'm interested to see those steps in, at this point she's in here. She's going to eat a lot of L's. She's going to be one of the biggest losers in this block. She might be the low person in the block, right? But all this experience she gains from being out there on her own, but she's in there with people that are better than her, as opposed to this year where she's had to go out there and be with people that on her skill level or probably below. So taking all the stuff she's learned in some of these, openers, and going out there with a Julia, with a Mayu, Kamatani, Kid, Momo, Hazuki, Nasapoi, Ida, her senior in stars, Suzu,
she's gonna be a monster.
It's gonna be this is gonna be very important for her progression. In instrumental, you say you look back, this could be the start of of a run of look at this progression, look how good this person is. She's one of the best under 24 wrestlers in the world. So I'm happy that she's in this tournament.
Yeah, with Hanan, with her, it reminds me of when I wrote for Wrestling with Words back in 2016, and that's when Momo was just a youngster in the 5-Star Grand Prix, and she had no shot in the tournament, but she always have good matches, and I think Hanan's going to be in a similar way. Hanan's going to be probably a future star in the company, but she's got one job in this tournament: to lose to Ami Sourei, put her over strong for a Future of Stardom championship match coming up. Yep. She's got one job, to put her over, and that's if she accomplishes that and puts her over and sets up that match down the road, that's the only thing that she has to accomplish to me, is to do that in that tournament. Other than that, everything is gravy, and she can learn a lot from this tournament.
Yeah, she could lose every match, honestly, and it wouldn't hurt her in the least. She's been a pleasant surprise at the beginning of these shows. If you're like, can we put a 6-minute match out there to to warm up the card? Like, she's been awesome in that role. So I don't know if I'm interested to see if they just pluck her one night and be like, yo, you're in the semi-main event. And I haven't looked thoroughly through the schedules yet, but I would look, I would want to see that at least twice. And it's like, yeah, go out there with not Julia, but someone else.
yeah, Julia ain't putting that shit over. You know how Julia get down sometimes. She will not put that shit over. I believe.
Teach.
I believe. I believe the 24th, the second to last night, she will have opportunity with Ida to go out there and more or less, because that's her last night of the tournament. She's so I think the 24th of September is she might have the opportunity to be, second to last on that card and basically close out her tournament with her senior and stars, and I think that's a really good match. Two former future champions, been tag team partners, 2019 tag tournament. They've been a tag team for years now. So when Ida tore her ACL, until Ida came back, Hannah was always doing the gorilla chest thing until she came back. I think that'll be a really important match to both of them. So I think they'll put that on, towards the end of that card. So I think that's definitely one they'll do.
I got one show that she could do that on. That's night 4 against Saya Kamatani on 8-7. I think just looking up and down that card, it's Utami versus Unagi, Koguma versus Himeka, Izumi versus Mai Sakurai, Natsupoi versus Sami Sarai, and Mina versus Saida. I could easily see that main eventing or semi-main event in that show.
Yeah, it could happen. That could definitely happen. Okay, so Mirai, an incredible, debut in the promotion. Comes in, has singles matches on both Sumo Hall shows. Comes into Donald Mondo, as a Julia Goon. Eventually leaves Julia to become a number 2 in a faction. Wins the Cinderella tournament. Had a great, one of the best matches in Stardom this year. Her challenge against Kamatani helped establish Kamatani as one of the best white belt title reigns in the company's history. Helped be a part of that, and came off of a great tag team title challenge against FWC with Ami. So I think she's had a great year. I think the talk of people talking about really when people complain about her, it's nothing to do with the in-ring work stuff. It's what is her character, and it's she's a baby face. She's a white baby face. Was not to understand. I don't get what you don't get. She's charismatic. She smiles. She claps. People clap for her. She fights from underneath and then fights back. And then his a damn Stan Hansen lariat. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe she should be. Maybe she's not as engaging or people should be more engaging to just be a white baby face. I don't know. But what she does is over with the crowd. And they pushed her to a spot, and I wonder if there's more to that spot. But definitely where she is, she's more than shown that she's qualified to be a number 2 in a faction in short order. I think she's been great. Where she fits in this tournament, she's she could be somebody that's alive until the last day. She could not be. I don't know. I don't know what they do with her. All I know is I'm as you mentioned it earlier when we were talking about Ida, I'm waiting for the final night for my match. And all I want is my match. Her and Kamatani rematch, I'm sure it'll be great. Fine. Her and Natsupoi rematch from semifinal Cinderella, sure, that'd be great. I want my Ida and my Mirai unofficial, never open weight women's title match. Like, I want my BMW match. Big muscular women beating each other's asses until they collapse. That's what I want. Give me what I want. They gave me what I want. I just have to wait. So I have nothing really to say to Mariah other than I think she's going to have another great tournament fitting in with the rest of this group. Oh, one other thing. I don't know when the match is, but like her having a rematch from New Blood against Suzu, that's going to be great too.
Yeah.
So nothing else. Going to be great. She's going to be great. I don't know where she fits in at the end, but like she's going to have a fun tournament.
I think with Mariah, and I agree that she's had a really good, basically, I want to say rookie year in Stardom, but the first year in Stardom, because she obviously was in TJPW, but with her, she's been a really good year for her in ring. I think with this tournament, she's going to start off rough, and a lot of people are going to be happy because she has Mayu, Julia, Natsupoi, and Suzu in her first 4 matches.
Oof.
So she is. I got her going 0-4 the first 4 matches, and that's 4 matches, 5 nights. So, but I think she can clean up on the back end and might be in contention. Whereas, and then you'll have the match that you want, James, her and Saida. So, but starting off in the block with those 4, I think it's going to be really tough for her. I don't think she's going to win at all, but I don't think she's going to be 50-50 either. Like I said with Suzuki, I think she's gonna get a couple of pins, but not right out of the gate. It's going to be rough for her the first part of the tournament. Then she comes back, and that's going to be basically her narrative arc is that she started off rough in her first 5-star Grand Prix, but it ended in strong.
I can definitely see that.
She feels like someone that's going to be sub-middle of the pack, and there's just somebody that has to be in that spot. I think the key for Mariah in 2022 was showing what she could do in the main event level, showing what she could do in the semi-main event level, and her job really for this year is done. I say as establishing her within Stardom. This is just like, all right, it's time to indoctrinate you in a Grand Prix, get you some more opponents, and she rebuilds into whatever her narrative is going to be in 2023 off of this tournament.
Yeah, and before we move on, definitely Mariah is a lock to be a nominee for One Nation Radio 2022 Newcomer of the Year. That was sold up months ago, but just in case y'all were wondering, she's absolutely a candidate for that. It's already written in pen. Ami, big Ami. She's obviously going to have some giant protection helping her, right? She's going to have that condom on. But outside of that, I see the hand and win or the draw, because it makes perfect sense for them to eventually have a futures match. But outside of that, she's gonna have some competitive matches because of her size. But I think this giant's getting rolled up a lot. I don't know what the ceiling would be for her for wins. Maybe 6 points, maybe 6. Am I? Do y'all think I'm underselling that?
I think so. I think they could give her as much as 10 or 12. Yeah, I'm really high on her. I think the opening night's going to be a draw between her and Saya, but I think for the rest of it, she could pick up some big wins. Just looking at, obviously, I think her and Saya Kamitani, I think if to set up a white belt match, so to basically elevate her even more, because I said before that the Hanan's going to basically put her over and set up that futures match, but I think Saya, she's not going to be a high-speed wrestler, so put Saya Kamitani and give her a match, because Saya Kamitani is kind of running out of challengers. Thinking about it, Hazuki could be easily one of them, but why not put Ami Sarai? Put her in that role. She's really impressed me down the line, and I think she could pick up some big wins. She could pick up a win against Natsupoi. I don't know if that would happen, but I think she could do that. Looking around, obviously not Suzuki, but maybe not Momo, not Julia.
I think she gets somebody of that
maybe
ilk.
Mirai.
I think she gets somebody of that ilk just based off of like Rich was mentioning. Like there is no like Saki Kashima that will just steal wins or banana in the tailpipe shenanigan and shit like Yano duct taping somebody and rolling them up. But the element you have with her is like her size is like she can't just with her size like sneak somebody or overwhelm somebody for 3 seconds. Like so I think that comes into play. So maybe I was just thinking of just like her placement and not thinking of like the actual full picture with what she brings to the table for that. But I think she can catch somebody.
Yeah. Because like I think she wins over Saida or maybe like I said before it was a draw, but she could easily win that match. She's going to beat Hanan, so that's 2. She's going to beat Mina Shirakawa, that's 3. And maybe Starlight Kid now. Maybe her Mirai, so that's 4. So that's 4 points. So that's 4 opponents she could beat, and maybe Azuki. I don't know. I think it's not going to be in terms of the Himeka push, like in 2020 or the 2019. Yeah, 2020.
It was 2020.
In 2025 Star, but I think she could be a really good showing in this one. I think if she was in the other block, no way in hell. I think she would have no shot at getting any points. In this block, maybe. I think she'd get a good run. Maybe 8 points. Maybe 10 points. Maybe.
Like that is true because like that the red block is not. Like, it's the big boy block. Like, it is a block with all the hosses for the most part. Like, with Utami, and then Shuri's not a hoss, but, like, she's just a fucking queen ass kicker. And then you have, like, you have Micah, and you have Himeka there, and then Risa. Like, that is the hoss block. So, yeah, like, her being in this block, like, gives her that element that, of that advantage in that department, definitely. Rich? Ami?
Ami's an open book for me. I'm going into this thing looking to learn a lot about her. I haven't really caught too much of her work, so I can't really speak on her. But as far as like her being a giant, that's pretty interesting to contrast with Saida being in the block, of course.
You're right. There's
even
two
Mayu
Iwatani. My bad.
Yes. Even putting her in there with Mayu Iwatani, and I feel like Mayu could get like, you guys told me she's a giant. This is like, all right, can Okada get some out of Bad Luck Fale here? Okay, all right, cool.
Better than him, but yeah,
she is better.
same concept, but
yeah. Like she's a giant, but she don't suck.
I'm looking to learn
she's
a
like
lot
Lance
about
Archer. She's more like Lance Archer than Bad Luck Fale.
So I'm looking to learn a lot about Ami. So I have more. I'm willing to learn more than I am to talk on this one.
Okay, so the last member, certainly not least, in the blue block, the Blue Stars, Suzu Suzuki, and I gotta say, I look at this block and all the first time matchups or singles matches, due to her being originally from Ice Ribbon. And I see like how, as I mentioned with Natsupoi, there are so many people that are just meant to that match up on paper with her so well, and like she is my person I'm looking to most forward to in this tournament, or in this block at least, because her and Mayu is perfection. The storyline thing with Julia, perfection. Kamatani, perfection. Starlight Kid, perfection. Momo, perfection. Hazuki, perfection. Natsupoi, perfection. Mirai, we already saw that at New Blood. That was a great draw. Like, so many matches that we've never seen before, and that excitement of where are they going to slot her, and then like her potential to be a spoiler for Julia, and also future matches on these big Stardom shows because of the involvement of Prominence. And it's like, they're going to have to protect her. They can't just job her out like she's, like some geek. So, like, I find it to be really interesting. Like, I think she has to win at least 7 matches.
Yeah. Like when the news broke that her and Risa Sera and the rest of Prominence broke away from Ice Ribbon, I made a tweet months ago. I said, the person that I will not name because I will get in trouble, the person with the hat man, should look into this and get Suzu Suzuki because she could be a generational talent. And to me, that's one of the, she is a blue chip prospect. And I think that, he should do whatever he can to lock her down to a long-term contract. I don't know if he's got to get her a joint contract with her in Prominence to let her do death matches, buy her mama a farm, or do something, some blue chips. Rossi got to do something to lock her down because she could be a star in Stardom. Pardon the pun, but yeah. Especially with her being the Wave champion, she's gonna have to have extra protective booking there because Wave doesn't want to have their champion look like a chump. So with that, this was the like I alluded to before, saying somebody else was going to be tied with 16 points. This is the person I had having 16 points. So with her, Starlight Kid, and Julia, I think that's going to be what's going to come down to with 16 points in the final night. And with Suzu, the matchups, they range so long, like you said before, like they range, and I'm just going to sit back and watch and enjoy. And I'm all on train for Suzu Suzuki. Go Bell. That's to me. That's going to be that's the blue chip prospect. That's the star that they got to lock down going forward.
Real quick before I throw to Rich.
I've seen her a handful of times. Okay.
Real quick before I throw to Rich. Like, wait till we find out that Rossi started doing these Stardom and Showcase goofy ass matches to get to further appease to Prominence's proclivity to doing hardcore death bullshit matches. Y'all want to do that? Fine. Every 6 weeks we will let you do one of these garbage plunder matches. Now come sign with us and come do these matches. These real matches. Fuck these sports you out here falling on. Don't you want to make some real money? so go ahead, Rich.
I've seen Suzu Suzuki a handful of times and come away very impressed with her intensity, with her willing to get in there and run it essentially, and we already know her and Julia and how the dynamic is there. I'm incredibly excited about her, and thinking about her versatility that she's going to get to show in here. So she's going to do the war with Julia. We know that, but she's going to have Momo with the kicks. Her and Mayu Iwatani is like, all right, let's do the classic Stardom main event. Starlight Kid and Natsupoi ain't coming to play, and she seems like she'll be right, in there with them. Her and Mirai, I loved that match they did at New Blood a couple weeks ago, and it was like, yo, I know this is a draw, but I don't feel robbed on this one. It was like, I think she's a special wrestler. She got any interest in coming to America?
Probably. We'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see.
I don't remember because I know the Joshi Pod interviewed her maybe last year or the year before when she was in Ice Ribbon, and that's when she started doing the deathmatch stuff. So I don't know if she would go over to the US, but if she does,
I know somewhere where they'll let her bleed on national television.
I think that she'll end up over here for the simple fact that last year Rini Yamashita came over here, and if she's talking to anybody as far as Joshi death matches, of course they're comparing notes. So yeah, I think that's bound to happen eventually. She'll end up on a Deadlock Pro, of course, because everybody ends up Deadlock Pro. That's real high level Joshi. So yeah, I think that's going to happen sooner or later. And then if these matches go off the way that they could with her match with Julian the last night, her match with Starlight Kid on one of these opening nights. I'm trying to think what. Opening night Starlight Kid, and then the final night Julia. There is no way that someone's watching this and not saying, hey, I can't use that on my indie show between Jungle Kiona or Asuka Vinny, whoever they bring over here.
Yep, and I could easily see her going on a GCW show. Even though
unfortunately,
yeah, but because like I watched the Prominent show, and Jun Kasai put her over strong. Because I read some translations. He put her over strong after the match, and that's a big praise because Jun Kasai is like a god in the deathmatch world, and I liked her match with Masashi Takeda. And I'm not really a big deathmatch person, but she's legit. She's legit, and she could be like Moxley, over GCW, do the deathmatch stuff and do whatever, and then come and do the deadlock and do whatever, do the Invalidity shows. Yeah, like she's so talented, and I think that it's just multifaceted with her.
Yeah. So,
School is back and doorbusters are in session at JCPenney. Score best-in-class deals for your whole crew like $6.99 tees and $21.99 denim from Arizona Jean Company. Spice up your new space with Cook's Kitchen Essentials starting at $19.99. Hurry in store while they last, or buy online now, pick up curbside later. Shopping is back, and the savings are too. JCPenney. Doorbusters valid on select styles through 8/3. Exclusions apply. See store or jcp.com for details. Do it!
O'Reilly! Stay cool this summer with AC Pro and O'Reilly Auto Parts. Right now, get a $15 O'Reilly Auto Parts gift card after mail-in rebate with the purchase of select AC Pro ready-to-use refrigerant products that include a hose and gauge. Beat the heat before you hit the road with AC Pro at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Now on to the red block. Let's start with the red belt champion, Shuri. I thought that last year was the best performance I've ever seen from a woman wrestler in any tournament I've ever seen. I've never seen any of the All Japan Women's Grand Prix. I've never seen a full Zion from RCN. But like, as far as from what I have seen in my experience, like I thought that like 2019 and 2020 Mayu Iwatani was like killing it with her, 3.8, 3.9 something star average in those two tournaments. And then Shuri said, "You like that, James?" Hold this 4+ average, and I'm coming out here and I'm busting drunk people on their domes every fucking night and kicking their skulls off. I don't know if she can do that again. I don't know. Because the ride is different than holding on, but she's going to have another great tournament. She has familiar opponents from last year's tournament. And people like Unagi and Tam and Utami and Micah, and like she's gonna be great. Obviously, I don't know where she comes in as far as her points. Obviously, she has to have a high point number total, but I think that she, facing Risa Sera on the last night, I think that she is going to have a ton of ties to build towards matches in the back half before we get to the end of the year. But like, she's going to just put on a show because that's what she does.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's weird because a lot of these wrestlers looking in the A block, she's beating Utami, she's beating Azumi, she's beating Mecca, she's beating Tam. Like, it's a lot. That's a lot. And, Saki Kashima dating back to last year, I do think Saki Kashima is going to upset her. Just
they've been building it. I don't want to fight her. Why the fuck do you put me in this block? Take me out of it, and she wants to run. I can see her catching her with that bullshit crucifix pin. And I'm going to groan, not groan, but I'm just going to be like disgruntled over that one. I really am.
Yeah, and it's weird because I don't know if you saw it last year. By the end of the year, they had the Stardom. The Japanese fans had their Stardom put on a poll for the Japanese fans, and Saki Kashima was one of the most popular wrestlers there, and and the match with Shuri was in the top 10 of the matches of the year. It was something ridiculous like that. But
I saw a few different polls, but I can't. They're kind of all running together in my head. But yeah, that I think I kind of vaguely remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but with Shuri, I agree. That she's gonna do really well. Maybe she's gonna dial it back a little bit, just because she's been wrestling so hard. I was surprised, just back-to-back singles nights of the last pay-per-view against Karumi and Tam.
Yeah.
She is literally the wrestling machine. What Kurt Angle used to be dubbed that. She is legitimately the wrestling machine. So, we'll see. It's just gonna be pure entertainment. I don't expect her to win though. She'll be in contention, but I truly don't expect her to win. If she wins, that would be really ballsy to put her and to win the whole thing, just to dominate. Yeah.
Look, I don't think it's gonna happen. Look, the way they have presented her and pushed her since she came through the door, I think she's been pinned or submitted 5 times, some shit like that, some low ass number, and she has avenged every single one of those pinfalls and defeats. So if they want to say she comes out here, she has 2 draws, or she goes 10-0-2, makes to the final, beats the hell out of whoever wins the blue block, and says, "All right, Tam, Utami, I went to a draw with you or you. I want you because I'm a visionist tie." I don't think it's the craziest thing in the world. I wouldn't do it, but I wouldn't be oh, that can never happen. Why not? She beats everyone's ass. she's fucking awesome.
Yeah, Shuri's my favorite women's wrestler in the world. I see her first 2 matches in this as the most intriguing matches for her, Shuri and Izumi and Shuri and Utami. Of course, the rematch, they've kept them far apart. I would love a random one-off. I know Izumi's a high-speed champion. I'd love to do a red belt match with Shuri. Shuri's gotten an eye in the middle of this tournament, so
is that official
you
yet?
Look, those 2 hard matches.
I don't think it's official.
But I thought I heard.
I don't know if it's official.
They teased it, but I don't think it's official.
Hinted, yeah.
But I'm sure, yeah. But it's pretty much.
I mean, I can look at the schedule, and it, the middle's not as loaded for her, so it's almost like they were built some time in. You got
Rest
Unagi
days.
and Mai Sakurai. I don't think you're gonna be, it's not gonna be too demanding. Possibly a short match with Saki Kashima in that time. So there's a lot of room for Shuri to do things outside of the tournament, which may end up being more interesting. And never know, that could play into the narrative of why she doesn't win the block.
Yeah, when you mentioned the 9 match, off the top of my head, the 3 most interesting matches are not even in Stardom right now. To me, it's the tease match with Chihiro Hashimoto, the tease match with Nanae Takahashi, and the match that should have happened is the Takumi Iroha because of the draw last year. So
Yes.
yeah, those 3 matches. You already got 3 matches right there, as red belt title matches. She really doesn't need this tournament, but if you booked her that way, okay. But she really doesn't need it right now, and I'd rather see those matches instead of them running back Tam or somebody else. But who knows?
Yeah. Rich, you already had your full thoughts. Okay. Tam Nakano. She will be in it until the final night. I look at her last night opponent, and I see that it is all caps Saki, and I think it's interesting just from the leaders of their coalition together. And I'm interested to see how Saki, all caps Saki, does throughout the tournament. But like, she seems like a shoe-in to be in contention to get into the final night. I look at this tournament, this block, and I'm thinking like, it's a 2-horse race. It's either Tam or Utami's is going to win this. And I look around and I see like Tech a little bit more interesting, but like Kogo, Kaguma, Azumi, who's never been able to beat Tam, Unagi, who upset Tam last year to get a white belt shot, Saki, who Tam beat her ass ever since 2019, Mai Sakurai, who Tam is gonna beat her ass, and like I see like Reese is gonna make some noise. Micah got a win over Tam in 2020 in that Grand Prix. Like I'm looking for L's and I don't really see too many of them. So like she's gonna finish high, and we'll see where the chips fall. But I look at the closing night, and I just see like the interesting matchups in the red block, and like there's not much that's really that more exciting or intriguing to build a card or sell a card than her in let's say New Saki, if you will. Like they have Utami versus Kaguma, Risa Sera versus Shuri is one of those, but like that's one of those like we already had our match. I'm the champion. I'm not winning, but they're going to give me something to go out on a bang with. So like I think I probably put her as a favorite to win this block.
Totally agree. I think I was looking through my pick'em and I had Tam with 18 points. Like that's how much I think Tam's gonna get in, and it's gonna be like with this block, it's gonna be a lot of people. It's gonna be split with a lot of people taking a lot of L's and people taking a lot of wins. It's not gonna be as contested as the other block, the blue block. You know, and to me, I think with Tam, it kind of makes sense. And if I have her versus Starlight Kid, it's kind of a fresh matchup. In a way, and to have that at the finals, it's sort of a fresh matchup. And then, say if Tam wins, I think it's been talked about. I know Kadani was hinting that maybe you would have the 5-star Grand Prix winner challenge at the New Japan Stardom show. So if you have that, and you have, let's say, Tam versus Shuri, you're not burning a fresh matchup at that pay-per-view, but also you're having a really good match. So if you have Tam win, it's a good story for her to win the 5-star Grand Prix this year, and also you're not burning off a fresh matchup. So that's what I think about with Tam.
As I look at Tam's road,
don't do this.
I just had to get that in there, but so like the title, has she not had a title match immediately before this? I feel like I would be a lot stronger in my pick of her to win this block, and it's like, all right, you just had the title match there. That's why I'm leaning towards someone else ultimately at the end of this, but I think, I'm looking at the block, and I think I just can't get past that. I'm like, she just had a title shot, and I'm like, well, why'd they do that? Before, like, had that not happened, I would have been like, oh yeah, I think she's gonna win, because like everything's lining up for her. Like, her stories, like or the times where she was champion were long enough ago to where she's ascended without the titles, kind of. Mm-hmm. And it's like, well, she's knocking on the door of like, the next level. She could easily still win this. And as far as like, the fresh match thing and not burning it, I don't like at that point, if she's winning, she's already lost to Shuri, and losing to Shuri again, I think that'd be a lot. but I could be wrong there. I think you keep her away from Shuri, like just because they already kind of did it. So, but as far as she should have an awesome tournament, I'm looking at it and I'm eager to see her and Azumi. I think they always have really fun.
They always have very good matches. Like when Azumi's first Grand Prix, they had a very good match. Last year, they were challenging for 4 stars, but it was one of those Azumi deals where it's like, Azumi, you got 8 minutes. Fuck you. You gotta make shit happen. He's like, all right, well, fine. Here's 3 3/4 in like 8 minutes.
And then Tam and Utami, I definitely want to see that because, last year, they were the people that, they were the red and white belt champions the whole year.
Yeah,
essentially. So
that match they had last year,
ready to see that again.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to see what her match looks like versus Risa Sera. Like, I'm interested to see how much of a fuck Risa Sera's going to give. If she gives a lot of a fuck, she can have a really good tournament, and I would like to see what she can do with Tam. But yeah, a lot of these people she's already had big level matches with, like a Utami, like a Shuri. So it's kind of already put in place. Micah, her match with Micah last year was very good. It was on the undercard. I don't know where it is on in the tournament this year, but that could be a higher level match. But the way they've set her up, looking at her schedule, Tam, they backloaded her schedule. So she's basically in so many of her matches are in the last month of the tournament. She has out of the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. In the last 10 shows, she has 8 matches for the Grand Prix. And her closing stretch is second to last match, or third to last match, it's Shuri. Second to last match is Utami. The final night is versus all caps Saki. It feels like they're quote unquote manufacturing momentum for her to just go 1-1 against the 2 other top dogs in that block, and then also win a bunch of matches towards the end, so she's in the forefront of people's minds. So she's out, like you mentioned, outside of her getting that defense, which they did sell as she will get back to Shuri. It's not over. They have sold it heavy that they're going to be on the forefront of her mind. How she's going to make up ground or whatever else. At the end. So she's definitely in contention. Now another person I think is the person with the chance to win this is Utami. She's had a very quiet year, and it was almost
balloons Utami.
Oh man!
After that turn, right before the from Momo on Queen's Quest,
as quiet as Hangman Page.
So
hey, you got a point.
Momo turned on Queen's Quest and Utami a couple weeks before Utami lost the red belt, and then for the anniversary show in January, they built that they were going to have a special singles match, and then they added Lady C and whoever else from the Oedo Tai side, and then what we ended up getting was a Oedo Tai versus Queen's Quest best of 5 series, and they all had 10-minute time limits, and the Momo and Utami match went to a 10-minute draw because who the fuck would possibly think that either one of them could beat each other in 10 minutes? And then for that sake, the fucking thing ended in a 2-1 tie or draw in that series and never went back to it. And then Momo is in the other block, and that pissed me off when I first saw that they weren't in the same block because I wanted to see this match all year. But outside of that part, that is the most they have done with Utami as far as storytelling is the doing and then the quick getting away of Momo versus Utami. So she's just been around doing tags and watching her tag team partners lose matches for her. I think she's 1-8-1 on pay-per-view this year. Right.
Yikes.
this is, she won the 2020 tournament. She made the final in 2018. She would have made, who knows what she would have done in 2019 that she not broke her hand. But like pretty much we know she's going to be at the top. We know she's going to be one of the best, or MVP candidate for this tournament. She has a group of people that she always has great matches with, like Azumi, like Tam, like Shuri, like Micah, like Himeka. And then someone like Risa's there, and then she can have another great match with. So like she's gonna have a great tournament, and like if it's easy, it's a real easy story to tell for her that like she lost the belt and she hasn't done much, and then they heat her up right in this moment, right here, right now, without going through the part of having being thrown in the mud by Natsupoi. This is gonna be a quick redemption arc of the young ace is back just like that from one tournament. So. I'm not counting her out. I probably have her ranked third on most likely to win this tournament.
Totally agree with everything you said. If it, to me, even though I picked Tam, if it's not Tam, it's going to be Utami. I think Utami takes the whole thing. If it's not Tam, so that's basically it. Like you took the words out of my mouth because I was about to.
My bad.
No. I was about to say, like, the down cycling of her is pretty wild, and if this doesn't bring her back up, we got to have a discussion about what's going on with Utami. And just to me, I think this is basically a showcase because they've protected her, even though her teams have taken a lot of L's during this year. So this is where she picks it back up, and the Utami of old comes back.
Hey, if Utami doesn't win this, I'm gonna start asking crazy questions on the air, like, has Utami like lost her powers by cutting her hair? I'm just gonna be like, what happened to her? Has she been killed and cloned? Is this a Gucci Mane situation? Like, where's the big U that I know? So I think Utami's winning this block. I really haven't thought about her winning the whole tournament, but I mean, it is built in right there. She hasn't faced Shuri since Shuri's, ran off on the whole roster essentially, and it's like they've kept her very far away. Conventional wisdom would lead you to think, okay, maybe there's a draw with them, and again, because the story of Shuri and Utami is draws, except for 2 extra minutes in one match where we actually got a winner, and then they do the big rematch down the road, and that's what it feels like they're going for to me. I'm looking at her tournament, and stylistically, I feel like Utami would have been more interesting in the other block personally. I'm looking at her and Tam, as I mentioned before, and her and Shuri are my 2 matches. Maybe her and Himeka could be fun, or Micah. Her
and Micah is always great.
Yeah, so maybe as a wild card, Saki, all caps, can do something interesting with her.
Azumi.
Let's go.
We often talk about what matches they're protecting by putting people in different blocks, right? And what matches won't just be in the final because that match has to draw later on. The mention of a match like Utami and Julia never happening. When I see Azumi in this block and then they put Suzu Suzuki in the other block, it's like, I know what you're doing. You're not faking me. I know what I'm gonna get, and I can't wait till it happens. It's gonna be great. So that's going to be great whenever it eventually does happen. But, Shuri on night 1, that's a big
sound the alarm.
That's a big, yeah.
Sound the alarm. Upset alert. It's happening.
It's hard. It's hard because Shuri has her and then Utami the next night. You want the champion to start 0-2 on pay per view. That's gonna be hard.
Sure, why not?
Sure, okay.
Or it's a draw.
Yeah. So, she's gonna be great. Like, she's gonna be great. She's always great. It's just a matter of like, when are they gonna push? When are they gonna like push the button on her? Right? Like, you mentioned like the Azumi. Can she get her way to a red belt match in the back half of the year by upsetting Shuri? And then, you know, continuing the run of like Azumi Shuri can just never beat this kid in a tournament. But, yeah, like, she's gonna be great. And I'm just interested to see like, I'm interested to see what her second half of the year is. Outside of, you know, wanting to see her in, Suzu is like, all right, she's done all these neat things in, unorthodox outside the box things with the high speed belt so far, but it's only so far you can take that, I believe. But like at points, I don't know. Like she seems like somebody that's destined to win like, I don't know, 13 points, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Like I got her pegged for 10 points. You know, just going 5 and 7 in the block. I could see her upsetting Shuri, but I could also see them putting Shuri over because she's beaten her. Azumi's beaten her before in the 5-Star Grand Prix. So, twice, yeah. So I could see that happening. I think beating Unagi is going to be a lock. I think she beats Koguma. I think she beats Sagi Kashima. She definitely beats Mai Sakurai. Beats Momokogo. But also you could have her Momokogo having, if she's going to win one match, that could be the one match, upsetting Azumi and setting up a rematch. But you never know. She could upset Maika. She could upset Himeka. You never know. I see her winning 5, but I don't see a lot. But you know, you just, like you said, James, just sit back, relax, watch, because she's one of the most entertaining wrestlers in the world. So
yeah,
she can emerge as like an MVP candidate of like just pure wrestling throughout the whole tournament.
I think she's won, like, you know, they did the awards at the end of the shows. I think she's won like best technique every single year, like they say the most highly skilled wrestler. I think she's won it every single year she's been in it.
Yeah, so there you go. So she can win it again, basically.
Right.
So she's gonna have entertaining matches. What were you gonna say, Rich?
Trillville once had a song called "Get on My Level," and that's gonna be the theme for Azumi on this tournament. Himeka, come get on my level. You know, we're gonna speed this bitch up. Maika, let's see what your high speed skills look like. Unagi, let's go. Bring it out. Risa Sarah, we're putting the kendo sticks away today. We're gonna come wrestle. Utami, I don't care whether, you know, it's the main event or what. Come get it. Shuri, you don't have a chance. Mai Sakurai, the school is open today. You know, Tam, no, we speeding this bitch up. We're not crying today. You know, it's on. Like it. You know, Chris Jericho calls himself the Wizard. Azumi is the Wizard. Jonathan Gresham calls himself a great technical wrestler. Azumi's a great technical wrestler. I have never been bored by Azumi. She's the best.
I have nothing to respond to.
Oh man.
This man went on an Azumi promo. This is awesome. All right, so where do you? I'm not even gonna ask you. You got that one. You got it. You got it.
Ain't the point.
Yeah.
Look, where she ends up ain't the point. It's about these stars, baby. It's about you know the impact that she makes on the tournament and making everybody realize like, yo, we only got the clock is ticking. Time's almost up. Y'all almost run. The sand is falling through, and it's gonna be Azumi's time shortly. So, do what you got to do. Prepare. Get it like the Red Cross, because she's coming. I don't know if it's this year, but yeah, where we at when it comes to Azumi.
All right, so holy shit. So, all right, so Kaguma. Kaguma's gonna come out here and be at the mid card of these shows, even though throughout the year, for the most part, she has been protected very well. All the stars for that matter, or the top stars anyway. And like, I think she's gonna win more points than people think. Like, I remember last year going into, she won more points than I thought a lot of people thought. And I think you kind of have to put her in no less than 12. She's going to sneak a bunch of people to do it, and it's going to be basically her, like, stealing wins, if you will, but it's going to happen. Like, she's going to catch someone like an Azumi or like an Utami or someone like a Risa Serra, like, or obviously, we saw her sneak a Mecha last year in the Grand Prix. Like, she can sneak Micah. Like, all of these big horses is going to be put on their back and bridged over. It's going to happen to a lot of them. So, be prepared. Be prepared. It's going to happen. They're going to get caught with that barrism, and they ain't going to know what happened to them. And the next thing you know, you got caught. Kuma. So, it is what it is. But yeah, where I'm gonna say like in that same Azumi range, like around 13 to 12. What do you think, Jay?
I got her similar. I got her in 12 points. Like I said, with the Hazuki range, like around 12 points. I think she's gonna do the same thing Hazuki does in the other block. Just gonna be stealing wins, but like you said before, but a lot of the matches, I'm kind of interested in the Himeka match and the Micah match, those exclusively, because especially with the Micah match, just because of the shenanigans that were happening early in the year in that tag match.
She gonna come out here with the bear jacket on?
Yes. And
oh man, like
I think.
No, go ahead, Rich.
Okay. No, go ahead, Jay. You got it.
I was thinking because like we'll talk about Micah a little bit. I think with Micah, she definitely has no shot to win, but I think she's going to do a lot of stuff that's entertaining, whether it's just straight matches or just having goofy matches like this with Kaguma or Saki Kashiwa.
All right.
Fresh off the cover of the magazine, fresh off the photo book, Kaguma is about to come out here
my God.
and by the ball, pretty much. She's
what photo book would that be, Rich?
Entertaining wrestler. Hey, I saw the Stars photo book on there. I don't know the name of the publication.
Jay, he's talking about the swimsuits issue that came in swimsuit.
Bikini?
Yes, I saw that shit, and they put Kaguma on that cover with the rest of Stars, and I fucking howled. They put, you got. I was saying this to Rich the other day. You know how we talk about the Mina or the Unagi or whatever else? They had the bear out there.
Yes, the bear. Open up new demos. I'm sure the bear got her fans.
I'm sure she does.
But the bear is gonna come in here solid as ever. Her and Azumi's gonna be awesome. We've seen them tussle. As you mentioned, the bearism match, and I am interested to see where she lands, but she feels ultimately like a just outside the top 4 ranking person. But she's going to beat somebody, and it's going to be a big upset. I don't know who, though.
Yeah. Okay, so Micah. Micah's someone that is based off of the Micah Mecha last match of the on the last show. One of those two have to be in contention. I would bet on it being Micah. She's at that weird crossroads where, she's been left behind in important matches by her two biggest rivals, in Kamatani and Utami. I know she beat Utami last year, but she has to beat, I feel like she has to beat two of the three of Shuri, Tam, and Utami. The kind of makes sense of this whole like Donna Del Mondo is in the mud thing. They kind of have to, they can't just have it just be only Julia that like figures this out. It has to be also somebody else in this red block for Donna Del Mondo that figures this out. And my pick would be Micah. So I'm going with her. I think I probably put her somewhere to finish probably third in this tournament or fourth. So like, I guess that kind of puts her at like around the 14-point range around that, but I think she's going to have a solid tournament. Mentioned the funny things that she could do with Kaguma and the like, but like, I look at like Unagi and Kogo and Saki and Mai and even at times maybe someone like all cap Saki, and I could see like Micah just beating all of their asses. So I, with ease, and and then going toe to toe with the heavyweights in this block. So I think in making some noise. So I think that she's going to have a strong tournament.
I think this is where I differ. I think Kameka's gonna be the one that's gonna be in that situation, coming out on top in terms of the top four. Okay. I think Mike is gonna be pushed down a little bit lower. I recently saw there was like a segment with TV Asahi on some TV show or whatever. I didn't find any translations for it, but it was basically following her with her last match in Fukuoka, because it's her hometown, against Sai Kamatani, and they were following her because she has a special bond with her grandmother. And so her grandmother came out to the match with the family, and after the match, after she lost, she was crying next to her, and the grandmother hugged her and all that stuff. Really baby-faced her up, and it made me think like maybe it's just like it was just like a sweet thing just to follow this wrestler, but also she's kind of got babyface potential if you wanted to down the road. I'm not saying she'll leave Donna Del Mondo, but if you continue to, because I thought Himeka did a great job in her match against Shuri, to elevate her more and maybe push Micah down a little bit further down, because Micah had a lot of great spots last year and even going into this year, in terms of that tag team. You call them the Bashisters. I call them the Regulators. So with them. So with Himeka, I think you push her a little bit higher in this block and push Micah a little bit down. She could have goofy stuff, but also, like you said, with the heavyweights, she could do a lot of serious stuff and have some really good matches. Like the one I'm interested in seeing is the one-on-one match with Risa Sera. That's the one.
That's night one, right?
Let me see.
It's either night one or night two.
It is, it's night one. Yep.
Okay, yeah.
So, right off the bat, that's what I wanted to see. So.
I hope Micah does very well for our buddy JD from Retro Leaf.
Oh yeah, because he projected. I think her. He projected her to win like the red belt or something like that, right?
I know
that's his. That's one of his wrestlers.
There is a red.
She does well.
There is a Micah Hive, like Pepsi Wrestling. Hello, like definitely there is definitely a Micah Hive. So I wish them the best of luck. I don't mean that to be funny. Like I like Micah too.
Come out. She's gonna come out dressed wearing something expensive, and I can always appreciate that.
Yeah. Where do you have her like finishing about, Rich?
I think I'm looking at it right now. She seems like she's like in that 4 category.
Okay.
I can't put her in front of Shuri Tam and Utami, but everyone else is in play. Her and Azumi gonna be fighting it out.
Okay. Next, Himeka. Oh man. Really, like me and Jay have both said it. Like, gotta pick one to finish high. It seems it's not gonna be both. It's gonna be pick one or the other. I picked Micah. He picked Himeka. So in that fashion, like, you know, just to make the points work, like I'm picking Himeka to be in that tier just below. My logic is she already had her match. Like, I've always felt that she was more fitting a white belt material than red belt material, but because of her size, they say, hey, we need you to go into the post, into these trenches, as opposed to spot up around the perimeter. But yeah, like I think that
is she Carl Anthony Towns?
No way. Ain't no way Himeka that soft. Himeka ain't that soft.
Yeah. No. I'm just
She been getting after the refs. It was a little storyline. She was getting after the refs after she lost.
It's a good joke, so I'm not gonna step on it. But nah, just no. We're not gonna disrespect Omega like this. But yeah, like she I just have her in that notch below. I feel like because of her history with getting, bailing people out with like getting rolled up, like I feel like that's just a looming thing for her. Like Azumi could get her, Himeka could get her, Tam can get her with Andromeda. And then even the people that don't even have like flash finishes, right? Osaki could get her definitely, but even the people that don't have flash finishes, like she has to go out there and she has to thug it out with Risa. She has to thug it out with Utami. She has to thug it out with Shuri. She has to thug it out with Micah. And they've always, presented Micah as being that one step higher than her. So like I just
look. It's called Micah and Himeka for a reason.
Oh.
I can't say it like that. It comes down to taste, right? And obviously it's supposed to be, it's not supposed to be just static like it is what it is with all at all times. So one year it should be higher than the other, but whatever. Like I just think that there's I just think that they want to push Micah more. But whatever. Like I think that Himeka showed a lot in her match with Shuri. That like that ceiling is higher than people think. Like she's more than just a good tag wrestler. But yeah, I just chose Micah in the situation. That's where I'm going with it. Good.
They ain't gonna book it, but they should book a handicap match. Micah and Himeka versus Natsupoi.
Oh. This man is so upset about this.
You done blew up the group. You got to pay.
Oh my god.
Doomsday device.
So like,
oh my god.
I've never seen no shit like that before, like in Japan, but like in America, right? How does the heel get out of that situation? How come the heel never is smart enough to be like, nah, bro, they'll whoop my ass. I'm finna lay down and take this pin. Like, and like the babyface be like, nah, we ain't allowing that pin. Get your ass up and fight. We'll stomp you out all night out here if we have to before we pin you. We even need your ass first. Like, anyway, let's move on because we always talk about hypothetical, ridiculous scenarios. But yeah, like, Jay, you, as you mentioned, like you chose Himeka over Micah in this for this tournament. What matches are you looking forward to, and what are you looking for out of her run through this tournament?
Let me look here. I had it up. Obviously the Micah and Himeka match at the last night of the tournament. Mm-hmm. I want to see if we'll get to Unagi later, but I'll see if she beats Unagi, then we'll have to have a discussion on Unagi's push. But I'm interested to see that, and her and Utami. I want to see her and Utami go at it. in a singles match. I haven't seen that in a while. So, yeah. So those are the matches I really wanted to see, because we've seen the Shuri match before, and that's going to be good. So it'll just be 15 minutes, but yeah.
As far as Himeka goes, y'all said a lot about her as far as she can get snuck by a lot of people. If it was me, I would try to like push her as strong as you could. I'm talking about count out protections, and I think that could like come into play. Like I don't think they're just gonna beat her like a drum throughout all this. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got on Himeka.
Okay. Momo Kogo. I'm glad she's in the tournament. I hope she survives this tournament. She's going to get her ass whooped. Like, you look at the people that can come out here and light her up. Shuri, Tam, Utami, Azumi, Micah, Himeka, Risa, like, all caps Saki. She's finna be out here fighting for her motherfucking life. But I think that'll be fun. And like, this is like her trial by fire. Like, this is her like Unagi Sayaka 7 series trial, or whatever it was that Unagi went through at the beginning of 2021, where everybody's walking the dog with her. So I think that this could be for her. This gives her a lot of sympathy to see how she fights, how she responds, and I think this is gonna help her get more respect from the crowds that already like her to begin with. So yeah, maybe she could sneak someone like a Kaguma, like, and Unagi. Maybe she catches Azumi, gets another rematch. But I'm gonna put her over under at like 1 point. I don't know if she can win a match, but I don't know if she can win a match. I don't know. Is that is a stacked card for her level.
Yeah. It was pretty sad that Tekla's out of the tournament. So, but Momo Kogo's done a good job. This is really impressed me. Like, the match that caught my attention was what the future Stardom match which she had with Hanan. Like, we know Hanan's really good, but I just thought that match was really like, oh, okay, you know, because I ain't really paying attention to certain actress girls or whatnot, but I was just like, oh, okay, like, there's something there. So with her, she's gonna take a lot of L's. I think she wins one match. Can you tell me what the match is right now? It's either Mai Sakurai or Unagi. I think it's either those two matches.
Okay.
Other than that, she is losing every single match in this block. Every single one of them.
Yeah.
Much like the Sam Hinkie Philadelphia 76ers, Momo Kogo will be getting beat like a drum in this, and there will be like not a lot she can do about it. Like, just like those teams were just incapable, like no matter what, like even if they got on fire, they were built to lose. Momo Kogo built to lose in this thing, but she was impressive against she was impressive against Azumi, but this is a welcoming, you know, this is a welcoming, getting initiated.
Yes, like, welcome to the NFL.
Yes, you know how to send a rookie quarterback out there and you'd be 1-15. That's what this looked like, you know, coming out there.
I'm sorry. Now imagine like Momo Kogo's head, like photo imposed over the top of like Michael Carter Williams. Now she's the fucking Sixers.
I thought you were gonna say Jared Goff.
That would be funny too. Oh man. Yeah. So Unagi, I think that she's going to have a decent tournament. I think that she is going to compete to break even at 12 points. I don't know if she'll do it, but she'll be fighting to get to even. I look around and I see someone like Kogo, someone like Saki that she could beat or get snuck by. I feel like she's gonna walk the dog with Mai when she gets a chance. Obviously, I think night 1 or night 2, she's in there with all cap Saki, and that's gonna be the point where after all this talk about I'm gonna make you my minion, my goon, where all cap Saki says, "I'll be your goon, all right," and whoops her ass. I'm gonna say it whooped her black ass, but that's just a tan. But but yeah, like I think last year she beat Azumi. So like they're going to give her some wins. She's not going to be no pushover, but she's not going to be a threat to win the block. But I think what's her last night? What was she facing the last night? She faces Kogo on the last night. All right, because it was supposed to be Tekla originally. All right, never mind. I was gonna wonder if she had any spoiler potential for anybody, but not really. But yeah, like she'll have her good matches in the tournament. She'll have her bad matches in the tournament, I believe. But I think that she will probably end up around. She'll be fighting for 12 points. I think she might fall short of that, so probably like 10 or 11. But if you had told me that she was just going to be this level of wrestler when I first saw her coming to Stardom in November of 2020, I would have been like, ain't no way. I feel like she struggles to, like she's out here counting steps. So all this is gravy at this point.
Yeah. I mean, she's definitely improved, but I'm going to have to differ with you. I think she's not going to get a lot of points in this block. I think the deep push of her is going to come into full circle, and I'd say maybe the 4 to 6 range in terms of point total. I don't see a lot of points for her. Just looking like you got to protect Risa Serra coming into prominence, so she's going to lose that one. Koguma, I can easily see Koguma rolling her up and pinning her. Tam, no, even though maybe not, because she beat Tam last year.
But that means Tam is owed for what she gave to her.
That's true. So, Azumi, I don't think so. Utami, no. Himeka, no. Well, maybe, I don't know. Micah, no. Suri, no. Saki, hell no. Saki Kashima, I can see her rolling it up. Like, I don't see a lot of wins in this block for her.
I mean, that's definitely a bad case. That's definitely a worst case scenario where she ends up with like 4 points, some shit like that. Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Some people come in this tournament to win. Some people come in this tournament to lose. Unagi Sayaka comes into this tournament to assess. And as long as she gets to assess, that's a success in itself. I love you, Unagi.
So, that's going on year in. That's going on the best of 2021. Some people win, some will lose. Unagi's in success. And then finish that shit with I love you.
Oh my god, man.
That was so good. How long you had that saved? Did you put that one on your ass?
Yes.
Oh my god, that was so good. All right. So, holy shit. All right. So, Saki Kashima. I kind of feel the way that Jay feels about Unagi. That's how I feel about Kashima, except that her wins she will have like big upset wins. Like she could catch like the people she's gonna catch, like the wins she's gonna be from people that she catches that are like big names. Like she's gonna fuck up the points for either a Shuri or a Tam or a Utami or Micah or her Himeka. Like it's definitely going to happen. She's going to catch, if not 2 of those people with that bullshit crucifix pin that she can catch people with. Like they have turned that thing that they've been using with her for years, and like they have turned it up.
Most feared hold in the sport.
It is one of those. It's like, yo. And then the fact where they gave it originally was called Revival, and then it was called a Kishkeshi or something like that. And then once our kids gave it that goofy ass name, like it is caught on, and it's like one of the most over things in the promotion. Like when she beats people, and then Sonny kicks on the mic, he goes "Spa-pa-pa-pan!" every single time. It's like, this shit is fucking hilarious. Like, so yeah, like she is going to catch some people just off of that, just so she can go to the mic and say, yeah, Mayu Iwatani, I beat you in 17 seconds with Spa-pa-pa-pan or Spa-pa-pa-pan. So yeah, it's gonna happen. Like, that's her whole tournament. Who can she upset? Who are the one or two people she can upset in a big way and make the points match for the rest of the block?
Yep. The people that watch Dragon Gate, they'll get this reference, but she's the Genki Horiguchi of Stardom. With Genki Horiguchi, he wins with the backslide from heaven. So okay. So that's what she basically is, and we'll see. I could. She is. I don't want to see she's 50-50. I think she'll win more than she'll lose. It ranges, but I don't see. Yeah, I really do, because I think she's really over with the Japanese crowd, but I don't think she'll be up in the top 5 in terms of block headers. But
right.
I think she'll have a good, respectable showing. Maybe like 12 points or something like that.
Saki Kashima has already made the 5-star Grand Prix an enjoyable experience via her press conference stuff. She has spawned many memes already. I can understand, like, I'm kind of getting the Saki Kashima thing. For a while, she was just like kind of roster filler for me. Mm-hmm. But I kind of understand the value of this. She's open about telling you she don't want to fight somebody, but she can shock the fuck out of somebody. That Mayu Iwatani upset in 17 seconds put her over the top with me, and she's pure fun at this level for me. Can she, like, her and Momo Watanabe are both in Oedo Tai, except like Momo is miserable with life, and Sai Kashima has made peace with her.
Oh my god! Oh, this is gold. All right, so where do you think she is?
She's so happy about it.
Where do you think she is up as far as points?
I think she's like a sub. Like, she's just below the middle.
Okay, so 5 to 12
in my book. So yeah.
The points are weird because it's 12 matches, so like 12 is winning 6 and going 6 and 6, whatever.
Yeah.
All right, so this should be quick. My Sakurai, I'm putting that over under at 1, and I might take the under. Unless she catches Coco, I think that she ain't winning a damn thing. And we talked about it earlier. August 28th, Julia versus Natsupoi in the revenge match. Like, look, I think people have talked about how the things that Julia is going to do in the ring to Natsupoi, as if like Natsupoi ain't a former high speed, ain't a former singles champion inside of Stardom. Can you imagine the things and the thing of the reaction that Julia had after the turn happened? Like, she took it like a G and was like, okay, all right, you want to leave me or whatever else? Okay, fine, whatever. Like, you go back and you think of like when Mai left Cosmic Angels, the way that Tam reacted. Tam was trying to fight all however many it was in Donald amount of the time to get to Mai.
She right? was on her Riley Cooper, you would say, James.
Yes. So, like,
I'll find it. Every one of you here,
right? So, keep in mind, think of the things that you have seen Tam do to a Natsupoi. What do you think that Tam is going to do to my Sakurai? My God. So, yeah, like, I don't know how many points she wins this tournament. All I know is she might not make it through the tournament. So she can end up with 0, or she can end up with IC for incomplete, or D and F did not finish. So I got some advice for
some advice from Mai Sakurai. The philosopher Clifford Harris once said, "Let go and let God deal with it." that's your tournament strategy.
All right, Jay, what do you have on Mai Sakurai?
I totally agree. She might win one match. She might win none. Totally non-factor. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I kind of like my Sakurai too, but yeah, but total non-factor in this tournament. She's going to take L's all over this thing. So.
All right. Okay. This is what I see. All right. So night one, she faces Kogo. That was originally supposed to be Tekla. She might get a win there, right? Yep. Nah, she ain't beating Scraps. Nah, she ain't beating Azumi. She might for some reason catch Saki, right? Because she's gotten pinned a lot by Saki when they've had Julia in a lot of these matches trying to get trios title shots, and because Saki has either pinned Julia or pinned Mai and sent her pack, and so that could be competitive, or she ends up getting snuck, or she ends up getting beat like with a kill switch like a geek. We'll see. But I gotta say, like, maybe she catches Unagi with a flash pin. Who knows? But once we get to Tam on the 28th, after that, it is Himeka, Utami, Risa, Second Saki, Micah, and
look,
yeah,
they sending her home early, James. They sent her home early.
Yeah, her last match is on the 19th.
Yep.
With 1, 2, 3, 4 3 shows before the final night is her last one. Yeah, man, 0. Look, I'm sorry, I changed it 0. I said she might be able to win one on Kogo. I don't think she can even beat Kogo now at this point, because look, once Tam show up and them big dogs come out after that, nah, man, like, she got one shot and one shot only. If she like one shot, like, if you can't knock out Kogo right then, you may as well spare yourself.
It gets real dark real fast.
Yeah. So Risa Sarah, I'm interested to see what they have for Risa Sarah. I feel like I would be more into this tournament with her if she hadn't already had her match with Shuri, and I wonder if they did the match with Shuri in that way, where all the cheating and ultimately she was foiled because Shuri overcame all the cheating, and then Shuri told her, "I want to face you when you're actually being you," right? Without all the bullshit. And I wonder if, like, that is a story play to eventually get another match, because she faces Shuri on the final night. They're going to have to come up with some way to keep Shuri out of this thing, you would think. And that would be a good way to do it. And if they were to do it that way, then, like, that would involve another match, where they have a real match and not, tons of interference and kendo sticks. Even though I thought the match was really great, right? So, but she has to get there, and her effort level is, sometimes so. But the times I've seen her, she's been great. But from what I've heard, when I hear the report card, if you will, reports from, in the parent teacher conference, it's up and down. So, I think this is a time for her to, much like Roosh in AEW in Ring of Honor, this is her time to, like, let it be known, like, it's money time and I'm here to play hard all the time, as opposed to I pick and choose my spots.
I'm glad you said that, because every time I saw her on Ice Ribbon, I thought, this is the laziest, god-awful wrestler in women's wrestling today. I thought she was the dirt worst. I thought she was super lazy. But ever since she's broken away from Ice Ribbon, and all the times I've seen her, she's been pretty good. I've had to walk it back. Like, Risa Sarah's been pretty good, and I think Rossi has a little bit more respect for her because she used to work in Stardom for a little bit back in 2015.
I didn't know that.
In 2014, excuse me. She used to team with Takumi Iroha. So,
good luck.
Yeah, before Takumi went to Marvelous. So, So I think listen, I think because her being the leader of prominence, I think she's going to get some respectable booking. I don't see she could be in play to be points, some in the points in the final night, but the worst case scenario, she gets a really respectable showing here throughout the tournament. I just hope that she doesn't fall into ice ribbon Risa Sera, and trust me, I might be on an island because there's a lot of other people that just love Risa Sera, love how she works. I think she was just lazy and just basically almost Randy Orton-ish at times, just sleepwalking through matches.
Yeah, and there's the whole part where, like, what did she have to look for to do it? Like, she had already been champion a number of times, and like her smoke with Tsukasa Fujimoto was like, Tsukasa the champion, having these long runs. Risa actually draws whenever she was in, like, on top of her main events at Korakuen Halls. They never did match with her. You later find out, like, when Julia was saying, like, how come Tsukasa won't ever have a match with her or whatever else. Like, when she was shit talking on, in interviews about Ice Ribbon, like, talking about, like, airing dirty laundry. It's like, there's clearly was a reason for Risa Sera not to give a fuck anymore. And then she left literally like a couple months after Julia had dropped that stuff. So, like, yeah, and then you see her effort level when she's in Stardom, and, like, it's there. So it's like clearly she, the problems with Ice Ribbon or her love for pro wrestling at the time wasn't where it was supposed to be, and so far she's a different person.
Yeah, that's all you can hope for. Hopefully she doesn't fall back to that, but
yeah.
So far in 2022, she's been good. That's all I can. I can't say a bad word about it this year. So,
yeah, I don't really have much for Risa Sera. So, everything sounds like it made sense as far as her probably throwing a wrench in Shuri's road at the end. Just based on how Shuri's tournament looks, like she's got the 2 matches early, and then like she's got the 2 matches at the end. So that are, and everything else in the middle, I think is, kind of Shuri, I don't want to say carrying, but lending her star power to things there. And, yeah, so watch out for Risa Sera. Yeah.
Oh, and then we finish up with all caps Saki. Saki Wild. We got to come up with second Saki, big Saki, whatever. We got to come up with whatever we can come up with and not call her Saki Kashima. But yeah, I don't think that she's whatever protection they're going to give Risa Sera. I believe they're going to give Saki the level below that. I don't think it'll be to that extent that whatever Risa gets. I think she has to win, 12 points. I don't think she comes in and they treat and, have her here if she's just going to, eat tons of L's like some type of young gaijin. But yeah, I think that she'll have good matches. The Tam match will be good. The Unagi match has something because that is the match where Saki is going to prove or show people all right, I'm not this minion thing that you're doing or whatever else. So yeah, I thought she had a very good showing in that match she had for the white belt against Kamatani. So she clearly is very good, but where she falls in line, I don't know, because there's a lot of people that are going to be protected and a lot of people that are going to be hiding the car but I don't know. I think that she'll have to be. I think she has to win at least 6. So I'll put her at 12.
I agree in terms of the range. I mean, we look back on it. She was a former Actress Girls champion, so she was able to carry the top belt in promotion. Even though it was Actress Girls, she did it. I've always liked her. I thought she was really good, really solid. It's funny because when Hana Kimura came back from her excursion from Mexico and did had the complete makeover, she looked just like Saki. Saki's had that look. Yeah, with the fuzzy boots and everything. Saki's had that look for years. And when Hana came back, I was just like, oh, okay. Yeah. So I'm just happy that Saki's in Stardom and finally breaking through somewhat. I just want her to have, and she's a solid hand enough. She can work with anybody in this block. I don't expect any bad matches coming out of this block for her. And with her in terms of the points, yeah, I totally agree with the middle of the road. She's not going to threaten at the end of the tournament, but she'll probably play spoiler at the end if she could. But we'll just see. I just hope that she has really good matches and she gets used down the road.
Same. Like I
haven't
really
seen
want
that much from Saki, but I think there's a small delay behind me. But I think she is. I was impressed when I saw her, so she's a wild card for me here, and I think she's going to ball.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, you mentioned, like, you want to see her more over. Like, I definitely want to see her and Hikari as, what's her tag name? Galaxy Punch?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Like, I definitely want to see them in starting the tag league. Like, and I want to see, and I want to see, like, Risa and Suzu. Yeah. Like, yeah, I definitely want to see both of those teams in World Tag League kind of liven this thing up, because World Tag League can be rough sometimes. So, finishing up with both blocks, we've done it. We have talked about both blocks. We all have more or less have said who we think is our finalists and our winners, but like just to put it just out there, just full on predictions, like normally how we do it, like your top two for winning the red block, Jay, is?
My top two is Julia and Starlight Kid. I mean, not you said the red block?
Yeah, to win the red block, yeah.
Red block is Tommy and Tam.
Okay, Tommy and Tam. Rich?
I'm going to go Utami and Tam as well.
And that's in... Okay.
And then...
Okay,
and
I'm with
Utami
you.
is my favorite.
Okay, there you go. And for me, I'm going Tam Utami. Tam 1, Utami 2. Blue block. You have Jay. You have who at 1 and who at 2?
For the blue block, I have at 1, I have Starlight Kid, and at 2, I have Julia.
Okay. Rich.
I've got Julia, and then I've got Starlight Kid.
Same exact one. 1 Julia, 2 Starlight Kid. And then for me, and then Jay, winner overall, number 1 prediction, number 2 prediction of the whole entire tournament.
For the entire tournament, the winner overall, I would say 1 would be Tam, 2 would be Utami.
Rich?
I will go 1 Julia, 2 Utami.
Okay. And I will go... I just want to go once. I don't even know yet. I'll go 1 Julia and 2 Tam. And I've gone over, like, every time we've done one of these reviews, we do very well with who we think's going to win each block and who is going to win the tournament. I think every year we've gotten one of our top 2 into winning each block and into winning the tournament. I think maybe except one time you didn't get the red block for 2020. But outside of that, we do this. It's almost like we cover this thing. But yeah, I mean that was fun, man. Like 3 hours it is. Like I looked at a few other places and like they were good shows and they were like, I don't want to say but like they were an hour, and I feel like, you know, when I see some of these G1 reviews or whatever else, like there'll be these kind of level of extravaganza. So I felt like, you know, now that the G1 is no longer the G1, and actually the G1 is the Grand Prix, like I feel like it's appropriate to do it to this level, to this extent. So I want to thank both of y'all for doing this. Jay, you want to hit us up with your plugs?
Right now you could follow me at the JML _ on Twitter. But most importantly, don't really follow me. Follow. I am part of the team with Detlef. We do the Wrestling Observer Hall of Fame tracker. What we do is track the Hall of Fame votes from the voters as almost like a public ballot tracker, sort of similar to the Baseball Hall of Fame. So we run a Twitter account basically presenting. We've been dormant, but we've been presenting Hall of Fame talk in the Wrestling Observer newsletter Hall of Fame, and just trying to promote that, stoke that talk around certain candidates and see how people are doing. Sometimes we'll get it going in a couple of weeks, but we're trying to get some informal polls. I think last year we were asking about CM Punk and Edge and Sergeant Slaughter. More importantly, if you want to follow that account is WON HOF Tracker. Again, that's WON HOF Tracker. If you want to follow that, do that instead of my Twitter.
All right, and be sure to keep us abreast.
One question. One question on that one. So how many percentage points is Edge gonna lose this year?
I don't know. Might be double digits. I don't know. This has not been. I thought last year was a bad year for Edge. This might be worse. I don't know.
Man, poor guy.
Let me see if I can pull it up. Oh man, because last year it was pretty bad.
If you come out here and tell us this man has like a 23, I'm gonna fucking lose it.
Okay, so
oh God,
last year he had a 12% drop. So he was at 30. He was at 32% in 2021. At 2021 last year, and he was at 44% in 2020. So, it might get ugly. Yeah.
Edge gonna be fucking around and be that Craig Mack. You won't be around next year and fall off the ballot.
Oh man! Wow.
Meanwhile, CM Punk he increased 18%, so it's going up for him.
Man,
so.
Look at that!
Wow. All right, so wow, Edge, damn. Keep us abreast of the Seth Rollins stuff as this goes along over the years.
Oh yeah, that would be definitely interesting.
Yeah, because he's on the ballot. I'm interested to see how that goes.
Wow.
I think Roman's on the ballot too. I want to say.
Okay.
I have to double check because this year is going to be real interesting because tag teams are going to be on the ballot also. So I don't know how that's going to work out, but we will see.
All right. So, as I said before, thanks for being on. And we got to get you on here more often. But yeah, thanks for listening, y'all, to the extravaganza, if you will. Be sure to rate us on whatever app you're using to listen to this. If you go to our description or link in description and go to our Red Circle Drop for the donation. But outside of One Nation Radio, listen to other shows on the network. We have Keepin It Strong Style, the Ricky Clive Wrestling Show, Grown Men Watch This Shit, 8-Bit Suplex, the Grave Consequences Podcast, AEW Match Guide, All Things Elite, Meet the Press Slam, Get in the Ring. I'm blanking on one. Rich, you know what the third show is from Danny? I'm blanking on it. I mentioned Get in the Ring. I mentioned Meet the Press Slam.
Meet the Press Slam.
Great Match Generator.
Great Match Generator.
That's the one. Great Match Generator. Thanks for listening, y'all. Later.
Be happy with pro wrestling.
School is back and doorbusters are in session at JCPenney. Score best-in-class deals for your whole crew like $6.99 tees and $21.99 denim from Arizona Jean Company. Spice up your new space with Cook's Kitchen Essentials starting at $19.99. Hurry in store while they last. Or buy online now, pick up curbside later. Shopping is back, and the savings are too. JCPenney. Doorbusters valid on select styles through 8/3. Exclusions apply. See store or jcp.com for details.